federal election.
I'm over the edge.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
The 2022 Sir Doug Nicholls Round.
Donald Tippin Woody emerges from the pack from the right forward pocket, kicks a spectacular goal. Oh, that is sensational.
The Sir Doug Nicholls Round.
Grandstand AFL.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
The oldest club in the land has adopted the oldest possible name as the unbeaten Melbourne Demons become the Narm Demons, honouring the traditional place name of the Victorian capital, the place as it's been known to the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, lands never ceded by treaty. And we meet here today at Docklands for North Melbourne's turn at playing challenger to the league leaders and reigning premiers. It is great to have your company, as always, on Grandstand AFL. My name is Brett Sprigg, and alongside me to call the action is Andrew Mays. Welcome, Maisie.
Spriggy, good afternoon. I must say, it's not a big crowd here this afternoon, and that's probably... to be honest, I thought we might get a few more Melbourne supporters here today because I've seen North Melbourne over the last couple of weeks. They've got a lot of things to work on, but they probably just want to come and take a couple of things away from each game. So that's what you can turn up as a North supporter over the next 12 or 14 weeks, whatever's left in the season.
In some ways, you get an idea of where you sit barometer-wise against the benchmark of the competition, but you're right. There are a few sparse areas of Docklands as we look out amongst the ground here, and mostly North fans, but disappointing crowd early on with the opening bounce just a few moments away. The team news here, no late changes, 4 changes for the Kangaroos from last week. So Hugh Greenwood, Jason Horne-Francis, Jai Simpkin, Tristan Sherry all back in, Marnie out with an ankle, Jaden Stevenson, Callum Coleman-Jones all omitted, as is Atuba Senevalagi, but he's been retained as their medical sub. Melbourne has lost James Harms to a hamstring, and they've recalled Jake Melchin. Their sub today is Toby Bedford, by the way, for the 8th time in season 2022. Melbourne's streak is currently at 16 wins, chasing 17 straight today. And by the way, it's Ben Brown's 150th game, which he fittingly will play against his former side. The opening bounce is just moments away. As I said, let's introduce our experts. Brad Sewell is here alongside Luke Ball. Welcome to you, Sewell, firstly.
Jensen, wouldn't Ben Brown be pretty happy to be wearing the jumper he is wearing today, and not that of his first club? A very diplomatic opening, gents. There's absolutely nobody here at all. And what do Melbourne try and get out of today? Well, we're about to find out, other than an injury-free next 2 hours, I'd imagine. And, of course, the Kangaroos, they've got some work to do, to say the least.
So, the teams are out there at the moment. They've got their Indigenous jumpers on, of course. So Doug Nicholls Round, which is why Melbourne today are the Narm Demons, and they'll do that every year. Of course, we have 2 weeks of Sir Doug Nicholls Round, so next week as well. And this will be an annual tradition with the players, of course, now meeting in the middle before the toss.
Now, because the Indigenous jerseys are so good, do you reckon that's prompted a couple of the Melbourne guys to wear long sleeves when they wouldn't normally?
Well, Max Gawn is.
Yes.
So maybe, yeah, because the sleeves add a different element to the jumper, which is nice to see.
Of all the alternate jumpers, this is the pick, isn't it? The Indigenous round for most sides.
And clubs will now wear it multiple times across the year, not just Indigenous round, but if they're playing away, for example, they'll wear it at home later on. All they do is wear it as a clash Guernsey, which is great to see. What are you expecting here today, Sully? I mentioned North have had plenty of slow starts, of course. If they can't arrest that today, it could well be very ugly for them. But what are they looking for today?
I mean, for North, it's just effort and intent, isn't it? Intensity to try and to match it for as long as they can with the clear benchmark in the competition, as all players line up side by side in the middle of the ground for a group photo. And it's a transaction of a painting there as well.
Yep, like artwork and artefacts. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, so for the Kangaroos, I mean, for some of the younger players, it's an opportunity to go to school. It's an opportunity to play against the best players in the competition, the best team in the competition, and take away. It is almost a lesson, isn't it? Take away as much as they can in terms of Melbourne's systems, their processes, their discipline, their voice, their kind of innate knowledge with each other, and you'd like to think that for the Kangaroos, they've got quite a bit to learn out of today.
The Demons have won 16 in a row, so 17 wins today. If they get there, will make it top 8 all-time as far as where it stacks up historically. Of course, in pursuit of Reg Hickey's famous Geelong team, the 1950s. 23 wins in a row, that mark, so getting one step closer to that. And of course, Jake Bowie is still unbeaten. 16-0 start to his career, which is a nice boxing record as well. When Luke Ball arrives, it will add one more to our desperate crowd figure. But it is the Saturday twilight here at Docklands, North Melbourne, and the Narm Demons. Players take their positions. We'll see the Demons kicking to the right-hand side, of course. Fill me in again, Maisie, which that's the Coventry end of Docklands. Getting us underway on Grandstand AFL. Here's Andrew Mays.
Gawn and Goldstein in the ruck. Gawn won it down. Davies-Uniacke rolling through. Couldn't get rid of the ball. Anderson's over the top. Pinned to him. We'll have another ball up right in the middle. Umpire receives it back fairly quickly and tosses it up fairly quickly as well. Goldstein won it down. Petrarca with a clearance though. Slams it on the boot going forward. Fritsch just drops the mark at the last moment. Neil Bullen running through. Just got rid of it. Got boot to ball. It went nowhere, and then a strong tackle holds it up at the top of attacking 50. Fritsch going nowhere. Gets to his feet. Ball up at true centre half forward.
No score in the opening 35 seconds. Goldstein wins it down, or someone's copped a falcon down there. It was right into the bonds of Alex Neil Bullen. They rebound the football off half back here, the Kangaroos. Here's the skipper, Zeeble, points it up the line on the outer side. It's bouncing out towards half forward and goes out for a throw-in. 60 around from the Kangaroos goal at the Lockett end of Docklands. Still no score in the opening minute as we welcome Luke Ball on Grandstand AFL. Nice to see you, Ball.
I made it, guys. Yeah, great to be here.
Where was the issue?
Coming off the Hume onto the Tullamarine Freeway.
Nice to have
just a single car. Caused about a 20-minute delay. Anyway, great to be here.
A warning for anyone on the way to Dreamtime at the G as well, a little bit later on. Now, North Melbourne have worked this to the wing. Anderson sees it over for a boundary throwing. Gawn's kick bounces away from him. Ball to be tossed back into play. Fair to say both teams feeling each other out at the moment through the opening 90 seconds here. True centre wing. Goldstein and Gawn. Gawn in the long sleeves, as we mentioned. Just smashes it down with the outside of his fist. Gains 30 metres. And pushed over the line it was Taylor. So another ball in. This one to take place at left half forward for the D. Still no score through 2 minutes.
Back in it comes, City side wing. Heaves it back in. Gawn goes to the front. Both rucks missed it. Out the back, Langdon tries to hack the hand pass away. Picked up by Goldstein of the Kangaroos. Hand pass away here. They can get something going through Davies-Uniacke. Just forward of the wing now. Drives it inside forward 50. It's picked off though. And intercept mark taken by Bowie. Unbeaten through his career so far. Throws it across the defensive goal mouth. Back here to Jake Lever. They'll come back to right half back, and it's marked just beyond defensive 50 out there by James Jordan.
Jordan just pauses on his kick, spins the ball in his hand a couple of times. Hunt was offering a lead short. Brayshaw's there as well if he needs. Instead, he kicks it off the instep. Poor kick, really. Oliver made it look good. Took it on the second grab. True centre wing. Plays on quickly. Goes inside 50. McDonald, high leap. Then wings it at ground level. Just got it to Pickett. Pickett gets to his feet. Great scoop. Great tackle on him as well. Davies-Uniacke tracking back. Wonderful tackle by the North Melbourne mid. Short pass is okay to Anderson.
He almost spun into the tackle, didn't he? He was
doing a favour.
Trying to evade, but spun into the tackle. Great start, great tackle from Davies-Uniacke.
Anderson for North, up the line. He comes back with the flight courage that time from Harrison Petty. Out to Brayshaw, hand pass back over his shoulder. It's running out of space down there is Hunt, and we'll throw it back in on the wing, dockside in front of us at Docklands. Still no score in the opening 3.5 minutes. Luke Ball and Brad Sewell.
Great challenge for the young North mids, isn't it, Sully? This is the benchmark. This is what we need you guys to be. So Davies-Uniacke, Simpkin, Horn Francis, obviously, Anderson. This is what we need you to be in 5 years.
Gordon to Oliver to Petrarca. Petrarca taken down in his kick. Another nice tackle by Davies-Uniacke. Forced the turnover. Kick out towards Taylor. Right back pocket. Keeps it in for a moment. Boundary line beat him though. Ball to be tossed in. And Narm's forward line here. 50 out from goal. Still no score. 4 minutes played opening term on Grandstand AFL.
Slow start for both sides. Never mind the slow start for the Kangaroos in recent times. David Noble's men certainly keen to atone for that. Goldstein to the front, wins it down, tries to clear a path down there for Curtis Taylor. He's wrapped up and the umpire will ball it up again. 55 out from Melbourne's goal.
Both Davies Uniac got the role of Petrarca for the day. What about tactic, I think, by Noble?
Anderson with a clearance to Simpkin, who ran out of space himself. Trots over the boundary line. Another stoppage.
Yeah, well, they're high draft picks, aren't they, both teams? Taron Thomas, the other one. So that would be the message. So this young group that's going to take this club forward, here's the benchmark. OK, they're a few years ahead, but let's pit ourselves against the best today and see how we go.
Toss back into play. Getting rid of Goldstein was Gawn, just kicked it inside 50 into the pocket and in front of Core. McDonald playing front position and Core just held him back. Couldn't get a run at the ball and McDonald will have a shot from 30 out, slight angle to the left.
Paulie, what do you think the message from Goody would have been for the day? How does he try and invigorate this side?
Yeah, for them it's just about standards, isn't it? It's okay, it's that anywhere, anytime sort of thing. Okay, this is just another step towards where we need to be towards the end of the year. So, and young guys, again, another opportunity to cement their spot in their team and stake their claim. That was a bit sloppy from Core, wasn't it, Sully? Didn't need to do that. Didn't need to give that free kick away.
Tom McDonald, 30 out, kicks and misses.
He's off the hook.
One behind to the left-hand side. First score of the afternoon. D's lead it by a point.
He's rocking the long sleeves as well, Tom McDonald.
Yeah.
A few out there, isn't there, I think?
Yeah, Max Gawn. Talking about some of the players that are often less likely to wear them, but looks especially striking with the Indigenous jumpers.
Yep.
Looks awesome.
The left back pocket. The Kangaroos chip it around. Lockie Young goes back to Bailey Scott. Across the goal mouth again. It's out to the pocket here for Simpkin. Beg your pardon, Corin Hayden. He's taken the mark in the right back pocket. Centering ball now. He does find Lockie Young, the ex-Bulldog. Still inside defensive 50. Up the line. It's a slow considered approach here. Simpkin marks. Now the 45. You can link up from half back. They come wide now to Walker. On the logo. Dummies the hand pass. Gets rid of Ben Brown. Gets it back out wide here. Horn Francis. Off balance kick is effective though. 65 from goal. Sliding into Mark Flynn Perez, who by the way hasn't won a game. He's the opposite of Jake Bowie, who's 10-0. Here's Simpkins, 60 out. Drives it long inside, forward 50. It's marked intercepted this time by Trent Rivers.
Yeah, Mark, it was a good passage of play, wasn't it?
Build up.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, the kick mark. Now, sometimes they can play into Melbourne's hands, but they were good enough to do it there and take it from one end to the other.
Rivers short to Oliver. Flares it out wide by foot to Petty. Awkward looking bounce. Hand pass is okay, though, to the running Langdon. He kicks short down the line to Neil Bullen. Back to Langdon, who kept on running by hand. Now Langdon, short kick. Jackson, no mark. No free kick either. It is. And Jackson will receive it left half forward. 2 kicks from goal. Can put this right to the hot spot. Levers pointing to 30 metres out directly in front. That's where he heads. Into the pocket. Gawn sets himself. Big fist from Goldstein over the top. Out for a throw-in. Left forward pocket for the D's. They lead by 1 point. 7 minutes played opening term. Probably a tick so far for North Melbourne.
Goldstein against Gawn. By toss it back into the pocket. Goldstein wins it down. Langdon into the back of him was Scott. The umpire lets them play and he will ball it up. The role that Todd Goldstein, the future he has now with Tristan Sherry coming back in.
Yeah, he's got a big role today, doesn't he? He just has to stand up today. I mean, there was a time 4 years ago where he was spoken about in Max Gawn terms, so has to lead from the front. That's a beauty.
This time to Taron Thomas. No, it's a free kick.
No, it's not.
Oh, Taron Thomas just cleaned up Ed Langdon.
Oh, he didn't lift him. That's just, if anything, it should be the Melbourne player who set his teammate up is the one that should be penalised for that. That's just bad luck.
Hand pass.
Yeah.
He's got him under the rib cage, Taron Thomas.
No.
That's textbook. It's exactly what you want to see.
It's just not having a great feel for the game. It looked, we don't see a lot of those sort of tackles, but I really feel for Thomas Sanders. Not much more he couldn't do.
Langdon's still winded, so he's just composing himself here before taking his kick in the left forward pocket. He's 45 out.
He's got his teammate to thank for that. It's got nothing to do with Taron Thomas.
The hand pass came from Petrarca, I think it was. Uncharacteristically, it wasn't quite what Langdon was after, but he wins the free kick. He opens up the angle here around the body for the first goal of the game. Anand Demons kick the first, 1-1-7. North hit the score for the first 9.5 minutes here in the first term on Grandstand AFL.
No, he's too winded to celebrate.
He's
too.
still blowing, isn't he?
It's a deceptively brave player, Ed Langdon, Sawley. Yeah, I mean, we all laud and clearly his one wood is his ability to just work and run all day, power run up and down the ground.
There's encouraging that as well.
Well, there is, yeah, absolutely. But he takes some punishment too.
Yeah,
he does. He gets back in the hole, in defence, he goes forward, he puts himself into goal-kicking positions. That time, again, he's, was it Petrarca who owes him a drink after the game, doesn't he? Got a bit lucky with the free kick, but good enough to finish, and what a year he's having. He's a lock All-Australian wingman at the moment.
So the D's were the first of the afternoon. Back in the middle here under the roof. Now the test for Sherry. He's got Jackson to compete with. Bounce favoured him a little. He tried to get it to Greenwood. He's wrapped up immediately, going nowhere. Good luck getting out of an Oliver and Petrarca tackle anytime soon. Tossed up quickly again. Sherry might have been held. Ball bouncing around in there. Jackson at ground level. Won it to Oliver. Kicks it high up towards centre half forward. Fritsch. No mark. Bounced off his chest. Ben Brown doing some work at ground level. Now a chance for Perez over the top. Hand pass was okay. McDonald gathered. His hand pass knocked down by Jackson. Powell was clean. Although he ran out of room. Forced over for a boundary throw-in.
Good frontal pressure by the D's there. Just lock that ball in and get out of bounds.
I reckon they'll be pretty keen not to let their old teammate Ben Brown have a good day. Okay, you've won a premiership, but 150 games. We're not going to make it easy for you today, big fella.
Petrarca overruns the ball. Oliver tries to swoop through here. Scott for the Kangaroos likewise. Oliver just tumbles it inside forward 50. Walker to the front there in front of Brown. Allows it to bounce here. Langdon hand pass off to Ben Brown. Turns 45 from goal. Shanks the kick. It might work out okay here for North though. Powell mops up here. Shares it back to Aidan Core and they can chip it away into the pocket where it is marked out there by Simpkin. At right full back. It's Narm 117. North Melbourne yet to score. 11 go on first term here at Docklands.
Simpkin held the footy, ran the boundary line, kicked long. D supporters thought it might have been out. Horne-Francis over the back of the pack. Keeps the ball in front of himself. Then he caught one eye. Probably did. And the outer zone umpire is the one who has to call it. Umpire missed it from 10 metres away, but Horne-Francis will take the free kick forward of centre.
Exciting enough just to come and watch this bloke play today, surely.
He just looks like a footballer. He looks like a midfielder.
Looks like he's played 150 games too.
Yeah. Kicks short to Taylor. Taylor out wide. That did Zerhard no favours. Through his hands and out for a boundary throw-in. Had to leap very high and he was lucky to get a finger on it. So it wasn't out of bounds on the full. Ball to be tossed in. Right half forward here for North Melbourne.
Demons have the first 7 points of the game. Back in it comes. Sherry against Jackson. Hacked forward inside 50 by the Kangaroos. Mark taken. Goldstein leads up and marks. Had the separation on May. That's an effective entry from North Melbourne. Goldstein marks 25 out slightly right of centre. It was nice work from Greenwood to kick it in there.
And that's what he has to do, doesn't it, today? We know that the Melbourne 1-2 punch, go forward, impact the scoreboard.
Goldstein to respond here for North Melbourne. Straight over the goal umpire's hat. Demons 117. The Kangas have their first. 1 straight 6. 13 on first term. ABC Sport. This is Grandstand AFL.
Just think about the two different types of entries. For Goldstein there, the kick was out in front, rather flat, certainly not on his head. Comparing that to the last time Max Gawn got an inside 50 entry, well and truly on his head. The subtleties of actually putting the ball in front in space, allowing a big guy to run onto it, becomes really important because for Goldstein, he's got one of the best defenders, May, standing on him right now, but when Goldstein's got arm full stretch, May can't do anything about that.
Yeah, he presents a different challenge for May, doesn't he? Because we know that May would like to sit off or zone off play in front, but the size of both Cherry and Goldstein mean that in those one-on-one contests, May's probably going to need some help.
And May was right on his back
across.
too. He was right there, but
just too big.
Too big.
Very good mark, good goal, good start by North Melbourne. They're within 1 point. Sherry fell on his back as Gawn came bursting through. Thomas, though, with the kick inside 50. Zeeble went down. And he's conceded the free kick as he pulled down Lever as well.
Looks like he's got the role on Lever, doesn't he? As that defensive type forward to try and keep him accountable, Jack Zeeble.
Lever with his kick towards the wing. Core third man up over the top. Made the spoil. Now McDonald, hand pass rather over the top is okay. Works the 1-2, then on his left, a true centre-half forward. There is Lever. Just got a hand in there, coming the other way, Greenwood. Off to Simpkin, 50 out. Left foot kick. Can it get out the back towards Goldstein? May beats him to it. In fact, the boundary line beats both of them. And we'll have a ball in left forward pocket. But some good signs here for North Melbourne. After 14 minutes, they trail by a point.
Simpkin had more time and space than he realised there. Would have been well within his rights to straighten up and have a shot.
Umpire waste no time. Back in it comes. Gone to the front. Down here to Horn Francis, who was collared 20 from goal, wins the free kick. It was Dunstan who claimed him high. So Horn Francis will be 20 out, slight angle to the left.
Just the movement through the stoppage creates the error from the opposition player. Again, we've got to be careful not to overplay it too much every time he goes near it, Sully, but it just looks like he knows what to do. Lovely position there. Pushed off his opponent, got separation, won the free kick.
Horn Francis, 20 out, stabs at this, but it's effective. 2 straight 12. The Kangaroos lead here. The Demons are 1-1-7. 16 and a half gone first term. Grandstand AFL.
He's well built for a kid, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. You can't help but try and project out and think about the sort of play that he's going to become. To me, Dangerfield's the closest comp at the moment, thinking about how he burst onto the scene as a young bloke. Just so powerful through the core. Look at his legs. And you know he's going to add to that frame in his upper body as well. But great to see him back into the team and hitting the scoreboard early. Good start, Kangas. North, they got a game.
Very much so. Uses the ball really well too.
Yep.
Lowers his eyes beautifully. He'll be one for North fans for many years to come. Back in the middle, North Melbourne with the lead by 5. Goldstein over the top. Davies Uniacke bursting through the stoppage. Going the wrong way though. Couldn't pick the ball up. Shoved off it. Kick by Sparrow inside 50. Bounces over the head to the goal square. North have numbers. Walker, an awkward left foot ball. It'll land in front of Dunstan. Gathers for the D's. Hand pass over the top is okay. And then Jordan to Jackson. Drop the mark. A chance now for North. Core across the face of goal. Risky kick. No penetration on it. And then a chance for Spargo now. Left forward pocket. Hand pass to Langdon. Langdon, awkward looking kick. Thomas spoiled towards goal and then mops up. Takes it over. Rush behind. Nam 1-2-8. North Melbourne 2 straight 12. Margin 4 points. 16 played opening term.
Donald, short kick out, goes to the pocket. Repeating yesterday, Jack Viney was the late out, if you like, beyond the Thursday selection. So was withdrawn from the squad yesterday. Luke Dunstan's out there starting the 22 for them. So there was a late change for Melbourne, which came through yesterday. They can rebound the football here, the Kangaroos, through Kane Turner. High toward the outer side, and it's off hands and over for a throw-in on the City side.
Bit of hamstring awareness for Jack Viney, so opting just to give him a bit of a break.
Nice luxury, isn't it, when Harms and Jakey Melksham can come in. So strength for Melbourne squad at the moment. So deep.
Toss back into play. Getting from position there was Gawn. Off the pack though, Dunstan tried to fling it over his head. Straight to Anderson. Hand pass to Zeeble. Now to McDonald. Low kick going forward. Made it extremely well to get his opponent Sherry out of the way. Took the mark. Flares it out wide. It was too far in front of Rivers, who had to see Jordan rather, who saw it over for a boundary throw-in. Left half forward for North Melbourne. Another chance inside their attacking half.
Just got to be careful not to be too conscious of those defenders. You can see at the moment they're really worried about May, whoever's playing on him, and Lever. Get at the ball too. That was a great opportunity. An open forward line. Still got to present at the footy.
Off by 4 points. Petrarca goes to defend here. Footy's come away here for the Kangaroos. Zeeble floats it forward. Got it back from Taron Thomas. Outside of the route, Zeeble shies on goal here. It's come up short at the top of the goal square. Rivers gets a hand pass over his back here towards Lever. They can rebound here. May from the right back pocket from that left boot goes beyond defensive 50. Goldstein attempts the towering mark. Spoil from behind Jackson. Loose footy puts a big tackle down there on Davies Uniacke. Ball comes free. Goes again here along with Jordan. And again it's come loose. So it's going to be a free kick though. Over the back that time he was on Perez. So Perez wins the free kick. 65 here from North Melbourne's goal. It's they who lead by 4 points. About to hit time on first term.
Perez just puts it to the hot spot. 20 out directly in front. Flyer was Goldstein again. Punched away from him. Dunstan roving for the Ds. Hand pass is good to Petrarca, who just assesses his options. Held it. That's because it was a 2-on-1. McDonald beat both of them out. The back just has to gather. He does, or not cleanly. Was taken to ground. Umpire says play on. Chance here for North. Anderson. Hand pass is good. Powell's threading ball through traffic is good too. Horne-Francis was looking for the 1-2 to Thomas, ignored him, went longer instead, again to the hot spot. Big fist over the top, coming late Lever. He kills that contest. Ball to be tossed back into play, forward pocket. North Melbourne with another chance inside, attacking 50.
Back in it comes. Goldstein to the front. Both rucks missed it. Taken away here by Bowie. Sends it towards half-back. Langdon gets some run going here for the Demons. Toward the outer side. Marked back with the flight. Fritsch can work it forward of halfway. Has some company here. Huge tackle at awesome. Curtis Taylor holding the ball. No worries there. Tackle rewarded. They bring it away here with the Kangaroos. Marked by Larkey just forward of halfway.
Great intent by the Kangaroos.
Nice tackle from Taylor. He goes inside forward 50, does Larkey. It's come off the chest of Sherry. Bowie for the Demons. Comes to Petrarca. He can move through traffic. Photo hand pass forward. Fritsch in space. Gets it back out wide. Bowie from the outer logo. Goes to the flank and he finds the chest of Charlie Spargo.
Lovely kick from Bowie. Now Spargo gets around one. He can load up from 60. Looking for McDonald, who stood tall and took the mark in front of Aiden. Disappointing for North Melbourne. They had numbers in that contest, but too big, too strong in the end. Tom McDonald.
Well, down the other end, it was a similar contest, wasn't it, at half forward here for North. I think it was Cherry who had the front position and went with a chest mark. And ball, spoiled, easy turnover. And when that shallow entry, that's where the Demons, we know, can be so dangerous. And they haven't got much flow to their game at the moment. North are making them earn it, but a nice contested mark from McDonald.
In comes McDonald. This one lower and straighter, and he delivers. He has his first of the afternoon. Nam take the lead. 2-2-14. North Melbourne 2 straight 12. 2 points the margin. Second lead change of the game. D's have it after 20 minutes in the opening term.
Now, the Kangaroos certainly take this start. Had you given them a chance at the beginning of the game. The tackle pressure intensity around the ball has been reasonable. There's been a couple of little brain fades and just a poor mismatch there.
Well, just look at the replay. Hayden Core wanted to sag off. He's your direct opponent. Yep. He left it for Kyron Hayden, who's undersized against Tom McDonald. That's poor from Hayden Core. He's got to be better there. He's one of the senior players down back now, key position player. He had to impact that contest, not leave McDonald one out with a smaller, younger player.
22 gone first term. Restart back in the middle. Up goes Sherry against Jackson. Stops it to the outside here. Almost overrun this time by Luke Dunstan. Ball comes loose here for the Demons. Dunstan goes again. He's dispossessed. Simpkin comes up with it here for the Kangaroos. Gets there again against Neil Bull and run down. The footy comes loose and it will be a free kick Melbourne. It was taken high. That time Alex Neil-Bullen kicks from just behind the bullseye. Up the line now for the Demons. Fritsch got in the way of his teammate Dunstan. At the drop, mopped up here by the Kangaroos defence. Scott back to Walker. Can work it wide again here for Turner. Comes back through the corridor. It's a shocking kick going straight to Neil-Bullen at centre half forward. They load up inside forward 50. Neil-Bullen's kick to the hot spot. Kangaroos jumpers in defence. Scott tries to pat it down here for a teammate. Wrapped up down there is Hayden. The umpire says, give it to me. 35 out from Melbourne's goal at the Coventry end. It's North Melbourne 2 straight 12. The Demons are 2-2-14.
Umpire clears a path. Stoppage inside attacking 50 here for the D's. McDonald tries to clear the area. Dunstan taken down. Just got the hand pass away. Horne-Francis was running through and unfortunately just an awkward angle clattered into the head of Bailey Fritsch, and he'll line up from 50.
Disposal 71-55. Kangaroos favour so far, closing towards the end of this first quarter.
Starting to get on top around the stoppages, the contested situations, the Demons. Fumbles North. One thing you can't do against this Melbourne team is fumble or miss a handball. A couple of times in the middle there, they were out, shoulders out towards goal and just over disposed. Take the yards against this Melbourne team under pressure.
In comes Bailey Fritsch from just inside 50, hangs this one out to the left. Only just makes it in the end. One behind. 2-3-15 rather. Melbourne and 2 straight 12 North Melbourne after 24 minutes.
Kick out. Bailey Scott finds Taron Thomas. Works the hand pass back here. In fact, it's Aidan Core. Up the pipe he goes with a high kick to the centre square. Getting a shove there, Davies Uniacke. It's going to be a free kick going the way of the Demons.
Yeah, just a bit too obvious, wasn't it? Wasn't much in it. Oh, no.
And 50 as well for the ejection, if you like. So Rivers receives 50.
Well, I reckon it was for the slow and the loopy throwback. It was almost like he was shooting a free throw. Luke Davies Uniacke. I'm not sure he agreed with the free kick.
Well, the descent came later as well when the 50 was given, but yes, it won't be a double 50, put it that way. Rivers will come to the 50-metre line. Well within range here, Trent Rivers.
Good player, isn't he? Underrated player, young Rivers.
Out of the Willetton basketball program over there in WA. Extra Mantle pathway, kicks from 49. On its way, it's high, it is straight and true. The Demons have their third. 3-3-21, North Melbourne 2 straight 12. We've played 26 minutes in the first term here on Grandstand AFL.
It's a big penalty, isn't it? That's the one. Where it
subtle.
just outweigh it. The penalty is disproportionate to the crime, in my opinion. I think the argument, if we have to bring that in, or if we have to penalise that, maybe a 25-metre penalty.
Descent, or is it the basketball throwback?
It would be good to catch the audio there. I think it was.
I think it was the throwback.
Yeah.
I think it was too. It's a loopy.
That's when it's called.
Exactly. To the letter of the law, it's there, but
picky.
Silly, though.
Yeah.
Gee whiz, it's a big penalty, isn't it, for a pretty minor offence.
Yeah. But something you don't have to do either, to be fair. It's just stupidity. Just try and push the line.
9 points the margin in favour of the D's. Ball back in the middle. Gorn rises high, but Sherry won it down. Simpkins, snap out of the middle, is okay. Bounces in on end. Awkward one for Brayshaw. Zerha, the ball just bustled him out of the way. Pushed him to ground. Snap from 45. Wow. Thank you very much. That is making your presence felt. Fair answer to the goal from Rivers. He has his first half of the afternoon. Margin back to 3 in favour of the D's after 26 minutes.
That was a beautiful bit of centre bounce work here. Look at the replay. Cherry to Davies, Uniacke, Simpkin. Quick kick, that's the key. Don't try and invent a handball. He was actually pretty slow to move, Cam Zerha originally. He let his opponent, Brayshaw, lead him to the ball. Maybe that was part of the plan, because Brayshaw fumbled and he barrelled through him.
Coughed it up, Brayshaw.
It's a brilliant kick, isn't it, really? It's a
powerful,
quick answer.
Powerful unit, isn't he?
He is, yeah. He really didn't leave. He had one quick look at the goals and threw it on the boot from 45 off 2 steps.
Voice of Luke Ball on Grandstand AFL from the restart. Gorn stills it out of the ruck. Oliver floats a hand pass forward. Here's Dunstan, evades Horn-Francis. Hand pass goes nowhere at the flank. Overrun this time by Curtis Taylor. Demons with numbers around it now. Dunstan goes back inside forward 50. It comes back to Cozzy Pickett. Tries to parry it to advantage. It's one away here for the Kangaroos in defence. The hand pass goes out over the behind line. This time from Flynn Perez. And it is a rushed behind. So a minor score. The Demons 3-4-22. The Kangaroos 3 straight 18. 28 gone in the first quarter here at Docklands.
Not the worst result that for the D's. McDonald with the kick in, goes short to the pocket to Scott. His kick is short as well. Finds Perez on the boundary. Low kick. Larkey coming a long way from home, takes a good mark on the lead. Right half back. Haven't seen too much of it today, Larkey. He goes short to Simpkin. Out wide. Oh, that's a poor kick. Over the head of Hayden. Gave him no chance and out of bounds for a throw in true centre wing. Just those little skill errors. And things North Melbourne need to clear up in their game. Toss back into play. Sherry down to Horn-Francis. Hand pass back to Perez, who just took a little bit off the kick. Rivers got in front of his man, then was pushed off it. May came running through for the D's. Gathered, hand pass to Dunstan. Short kick is okay to Petrarca over halfway.
He goes up inside forward 50 and no one's really back there. It bounced out there towards Kyron Hayden. He's wrapped up here. Strong grab by Bailey Fritsch and he finds the behind line. He's going to be penalised here. Great tackle by Fritsch, holding the ball. A Melbourne free kick from deep at left full forward.
He's just a bit laconic too, wasn't he? Like last line of defence, red zone. Young Kyron Hayden, he didn't show enough urgency. And
Get it out of the area straight
that's
away.
right. Quick, bang it on the boot, hitting the boundary line's your friend.
Kicked 6 goals, 1 last time these sides met. Bailey Fritsch. And there he is again. From the left forward pocket, they get their 4th of the day. 4-4-28. North Melbourne are 3 straight 18. The margin 10, late stages first quarter here on Grandstand AFL.
I do like that from Fritsch as well. Actually slipped over. Gave Hayden almost 5-10 metres, but urgency to get in there and lay the tackle that gave himself a goal.
Yeah, I mean they're going to learn some lessons today, regardless, aren't they? The young North players, even in the middle of the ground, their ability to snap from offence to defence. They were caught ball watching. Petrarca just drifted out the back of the original stoppage. He was left 30 metres in space by himself. Little things like that. Young Hayden there, not urgent, not desperate enough in the back 50. It just opens the door for players like Fritsch to get their tails up, get their confidence going.
4 individual goal kickers for the D's. They lead it by 10. Gawn grabs this one out of the ruck. A left foot floater to left half forward. It's going to work out okay. Spargo taken down. Didn't really dispose of that correctly. Umpire waves play on. Hand pass came the way of Neil Bullen, who tried to get away from Greenwood, who fell over the top of him. No prior opportunity. Ball held to him. It'll be a stoppage. Left half forward. D's lead this by 10.
Ball in the air. One down by Goldstein, hacked away by Oliver inside forward 50. There's McDonald wrapped up in a big tackle, and the umpire will ball it up 38 from Melbourne's goal.
Just got to hang in there here for a minute. North, danger size, red time in the quarter.
McDonald's limping, by the way. Tom McDonald from Melbourne. It's smothered there. Perez tried to clear it. Oliver for the Demons, out wide. Zeeble did well, Beckman into the football, spinning through. Dunstan knocks it back to the pocket here. Petrarca just bustles his way through. Hand pass up in the air. Goldstein gets there for North. He's tackled, spun around. Ball comes loose, holding the ball. So Goldstein, in the end, it's a very ineffective disposal, and it will be a free kick going Petrarca's way. He was the tackler, and he will be 25 out in the left forward pocket.
I like watching Petrarca chase the ball and hone contest in tight like that. So powerful.
Tom McDonald coming to the bench after he's hobbled away from that contest. So a bit of concern here for the D's.
Here's the Norm Smith medalist, Christian Petrarca. He sprayed it right across the face of goal and missed the lot.
Wow.
No change to our score. Demons 4-4-28. Kangaroos 3 straight 18. 32 now gone in the first term.
Come on, him, kicking a drop punt from there, surely.
Funny, isn't it?
McDonald, long kick out of the Roos defence. It almost worked out okay. Davies Uniacke overran it. May got a foot in there. Gawn just sockers it forward. Ozzie Pickett in prime position, although he waited for the ball. Young hit it with great intensity. Burst through a couple of tackles. Got it to Zerha. And he takes the mark. There's a bit of a wrestle with Larkey and Hunt as well. And emergency umpires
He wasn't out there quick.
Yes, he was. He was like a boxing referee. Happy to put himself right in the middle of the action there as well. Full tracksuit. It's a bit chilly here this afternoon.
Still going on.
Still happening. There's a couple of jumper punches being thrown. A lot of push and shove. Jen Anderson's in there. Lever. Sparrow. Now Simpkin goes back to Lever, and it's half erupting away. So a bit of fight here shown from the D's. May's in there as well. And finally, both groups have broken up and separated, and emergency umpire will claim that as a win for him. So they'll both head over to their respective huddles and have a chat about the opening term, which saw Nam kick 4-4-28 North Melbourne, 3 straight 18. The margin 10 points at the opening change. 4 individual goal kickers for the D's. Langdon, Rivers, McDonald and Fritsch with 1 apiece. Meanwhile, 1 each to Horn Francis, Goldstein and Zerha for North Melbourne.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital, this is Grandstand AFL.
Conversations.
Spend an hour in the life of someone else.
You go very raw and you feel a whole layer of skin has been peeled off.
Someone who has seen and done remarkable things.
I didn't stand up next to a safe with a doctor's stethoscope and pick the numbers, but we used to open safes, yeah.
Hear the latest conversations weekday mornings from 11 on ABC Radio.
Or anytime on the ABC Listen app.
This is Sir Doug Nicholls Round.
Grandstand AFL.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Oh, that's a beautiful.
This time, No, it's a free kick.
No, it's not. Oh, he didn't lift him.
Under the ribcage, Tyrone Thomas.
That's textbook. Oh, I really feel for Thomas Henry. Not much more he couldn't do.
He wins the free kick. He opens up the angle here around the body for the first goal of the game. Anand Demons pick the first. Brought inside 50 by the Kangaroos. Mark taken. Goldstein leads up and marks. Had the separation on May. Goldstein to respond here for North Melbourne. Straight over the goal umpire's hat. Back in it comes. Gone to the front. Down here to Horn Francis, who was collared 20 from goal, wins the free kick. Horn Francis 20 out. Stabs at this, but it's effective.
Now Spargo gets around one. He can load up from 60. Looking for McDonald, who stood tall and took the mark in front of Aiden. Comes McDonald, this one lower and straighter, and he delivers.
He goes with a high kick to the centre square, getting a shove there, Davies Uniac. It's going to be a free kick coming the way of the Demons.
Oh, no.
And 50 as well for the objection. Kicks from 49 on its way. It's high, it is straight and true. The Demons have their third.
Simpkins, snap out of the middle, is okay. Bounces in on the end, awkward one for Brayshaw. Zerha, the ball just bustled him out of the way, pushed him to ground, snap from 45. Thank you very much. That is making your presence felt.
The Sir Doug Nicholls Round.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
What a time at Docklands where the Narm Demons 4-4-28 leads North Melbourne 3 straight 18. You're with Brett Sprigg, Andrew Mays, Brad Sewell and Luke Ball here for the third of our games on this Saturday. Earlier at Gideon Park, Geelong beat Port by 35 points, and at Ballarat, the Western Bulldogs beat the Gold Coast Suns by 19 points there. Off the SMS, 0437 774 774. G'day fellas, says Damper in Melbourne. Many teams other than Melbourne adopted traditional Aboriginal place names for Sir Doug Nicholls rounds 10 and 11. Long overdue and to be encouraged, I reckon. Yeah, good point. To my knowledge, I think they are the only club that's done it. So we do see similar things now with clubs honouring the traditional place name or the name of the people from those traditional lands on their Indigenous jumpers or whatever else throughout the weekend. But certainly a great initiative from Melbourne, and thank you, Grant in Hobart, for your text as well. Quarter time here, the Demons by 10 points. The thoughts of our experts, Brad Sewell and Luke Ball on Grandstand AFL.
As you would expect, Melbourne in particular getting on top around the ball. Clearances 12-7, stoppage clearances 12-7. I've been more so impressed with probably their forward 50 pressure. They've had a number of opportunities in front of goal just because of their tackling, harassing, and you know, in games like this, you might think they could be a little bit lax, but their pressure in the forward half has been reasonable. And for the Kangaroos, they've probably been okay at times as well. Fortunately for them, they've kicked straight when they have gone forward. They have found plenty of the ball, no on disposals to 75 in Melbourne's favour. But a lot of that on the outside because Melbourne are just too strong on the inside.
Yeah, as we said at the start of the quarter, it's a fantastic challenge, but opportunity, isn't it, for the young Kangaroos mids. All high picks. Just looking at them walking out now. I mean, they've got the veteran 280-plus gamer in Todd Goldstein, who's, I think, competed pretty well. I think certainly the centre bounce, they've competed reasonably well. And a lot of the times that North have had their hands on the footy, first possession, that centre bounce, but just haven't been clean enough to execute a handball or withstand the Melbourne's pressure, and we know that Melbourne are very much the benchmark at the moment. So, but I think North supporters would say that they're having a go. That they're making it reasonably tough for Melbourne for the D's to get any real flow going in their game. And as you said, they've had 8 forward 50 tackles, Melbourne. So a lot of their score opportunities have come from pressure. And, think of the Fritsch one there late in the quarter. So. A good contest early. You do get the feeling that Melbourne at some stage will shift into second, third or fourth gear and put a bit of a gap on them.
Keep an eye on Tom McDonald, who's off with some sort of lower leg injury.
It's an ankle, didn't it?
Toby Bedford is, as I say, the sub for the 8th time this year. He's been unused, by the way, 6 times, Toby Bedford. So you imagine he gets a Guernsey here today if they have to sub out Tom McDonald. They win the clearance here, the Demons, through Oliver. Goes inside 50, mopped up in defence by Walker of the Kangaroos. And now Scott to Luke McDonald. Comes beyond defensive, 50. It's marked by Rivers. So it's a turnover. They get the footy back, the Demons, 55 out. from the Lockett end goal. 10-point lead to their advantage. Dumps it high toward the pocket. Running start. Ben Brown clunks it. 20 out, slightly right of centre.
He was bordering on uncontested, wasn't it? Certainly one-on-one, and you'd love to see North mids, even Ruck, get back to be able to support in the air there. Had plenty of time. It was a slow play, a turnover kick. Again, what we're speaking about, really, just a little bit of pressure on the exit kick from McDonald. Third pressure, physical pressure in the forward 50 from the Demons.
Ben Brown's
shot a goal.
150th game against his former side here as well. So a nice occasion for him. That typically long one up here, Ben Brown on the approach. He connects from 30 out, and he has missed to the left. The first score of the second term is behind. 4-5-29 the Demons. The Kangaroos 3 straight 18 early stages second term.
Toby Bedford has taken off the vest, so it looks like Tom McDonald will be subbed out for the game. So a little injury concern there for the D's. Meanwhile, North Melbourne work it to right half back. Off hands from a big Larky attempt at a mark and out for a boundary throw in. So it's bad news there for Melbourne. As Paulie mentioned, they'll would have been wanting to get through this injury free. The bye not too far away. Ball toss back into play. Jackson from behind. Goldstein in front. Goldstein tried to work at Davies-Uniacke. Well done by Oliver. He was cleanest in the contest. Petrarca took on 2 and then gave it to Oliver, who slipped over violently. Got to his feet. Kicked a snap around the corner. No mark taken. Must be touched on the way through Sparrow and Goldstein. And Goldstein holds him up. Hands it back to the umpire.
Umpire wastes no time. Jackson in from the side, wins it down. Petrarca spins through traffic, wrapped up by Perez. The ball goes with him, and the umpire will ball it up 60 out from Melbourne's goal.
11 touches each for Petrarca and Oliver.
Yeah, they get their hands on it.
Magnus, aren't they?
Yeah, they haven't been super clean, though, have they? You wouldn't say they're setting the world on fire at the moment.
Demons by 11. It bubbles around here for Petrarca, wrapped up again by Perez, and the umpire will ball it up again. A reminder, by the way, that federal election coverage will be on ABC Local Radio from 6 p.m. Eastern tonight, so that's in about 45 minutes' time. So to get your footy fix, on ABC Sport Digital and the official AFL app to find your ABC coverage of the games tonight. Dreamtime at the G, and of course in Adelaide, the Crows and the Saints. So I'll give you a warning around half-time, so you know where to find us after that. But 6 p.m, federal election coverage on ABC Radio right across the nation. Ball in the air, Gawn wins it away here. Simpkin is wrapped up inside 50 here for the Demons, and we'll ball it up again. It's the D's by 11. 4-5 plays 3 straight, 3.5 gone second term.
Stoppage after stoppage at the moment. Cozzy Pickett sharks this tap. Flying kick out of bounds on the full. Was caught on his right, or caught on his left boot, so he opted to kick with the outside of his right. Couldn't get any bend, and a free kick for North Melbourne. Call goes quickly from the back pocket. He finds Scott, who goes short to McDonald. McDonald hugs the boundary line. Hayden's able to mark it before it crept over for out of bounds on the full. Short kick is poor, though, from Hayden. Turns it over. Now a chance for Oliver. Oliver goes short. Neil Bullen had to leave it for Gord. Roving at front and centre's Melksham. Took a bit off his kick as well. Was looking for Brown. But getting in front was Scott. Nice mark. Flares it out to the left back pocket to Young, and then further afield to Hayden. Hayden left back pocket. Just pauses on his kick for the time being.
The kick mark game at the moment, isn't it, from North? Just wonder whether they have the, I suppose, the skills, the experience to be able to work their way through this Melbourne team defence.
Scott comes to find Davies-Uniacke on defensive knees, kicks a shock as Simpkin had work to do. One away here by Lever, hand pass inboard, out of trouble. Rivers run down from Miles, opposite number in Powell. And the umpire will reward the Kangaroos here. They bring it away. Can they make use of it? Davies-Uniacke cuts a swathe through James Jordan. Hand pass out here to a on-the-half volley for Goldstein. Back to Davies-Uniacke, still running. Comes a high kick inside forward 50. Although that down there was Larky, and he wins the free kick. He's copped some sort of high contact, and he will line up here 40 out, slightly left of centre.
And that's the method, isn't it? I don't mind a bit risk-free out of the back 50 kick mark, but at some stage you've got to get some overlap run and create some movement once the ball gets forward of centre. And really love that from Davies-Uniacke. He's an explosive player. Love to see him carrying, and wasn't super pretty to kick inside 50, but the big fella was in the right spot.
Larky's 8 goals, 18 this season. Here he makes no mistake. And they get the first goal of the second quarter. North 4 straight 24. The Demons 4-5 at 29. Margin 5. We've played 6 minutes in this second term on ABC Sport. You're with Grandstand AFL.
Nice run carry off half back for the Kangaroos, and like he just needs to present, just give himself an opportunity, try to track the ball as much as he can. He's a big man, big frame, and just threw the hair back, drew the free kick.
What about the effort of Davies Uniacke as well? His bursts. Speed through that.
Yeah, that's right. He's the line breaker. You'd love to see him going. You'd love to see his metres gains stat. We know he's a good clearance player as well, but want him chest out facing the goal, not moving away from his own goal and handballing. A couple of times there, he really turned the Jets on and took his space.
Gawn won it down, but straight to Simpkin from the middle. High left foot kick will land at the top of 50. Brayshaw sets himself. Dropped the uncontested mark. Zerha there as well. He almost took Brayshaw down, who went to ground in the end. Umpire's going to ping him here for holding the ball. Says he dragged it in. And a free kick is going the way of Greenwood, who jumped on the top. Zerha was to the side, and I reckon he said, I'll grab this one, mate. Zerha with the free kick.
Sub has been made, by the way.
Just a bit out of sorts, isn't he, Angus Brayshaw? The fumble that led to the Zerha goal, the drop mark there. Used to see him swallow those and then dragging it in. Good decision by the ump. He certainly did. Dragged it back underneath, and I reckon it was a Hugh Greenwood free kick. But anyway, as a good forward does.
I prefer Zerha than Greenwood, I reckon, if I was a North fan from this position, and he makes absolutely no mistake. Straight through the middle from 40 out directly in front. North Melbourne have the lead by a point. 7 minutes played. Second term on Grandstand AFL. Now it's not actually, it's Ed Langdon who's been subbed rather than Tom McDonald, who's obviously carrying that ankle.
Not because of Taron Thomas's tackle in the first term. It's sort of knocked the wind out of him.
Unless they found a broken rib at quarter time.
Yeah. He certainly kept playing, didn't he? He kept playing and was involved in the rest of that quarter. So
no official word from the club as to what Ed Langdon's ailment is, but it's not Tom McDonald, as you said, Maisie, who had the lower leg concern. It's Ed Langdon who's been subbed out.
And the reason I didn't know Tom McDonald had wandered back on was he's ditched the sleeves after a quarter.
Right. Yeah, he's back out there.
He's back out without the sleeves. So a very different looking Tom McDonald.
North back in front here, running through a clearance. Simpkin off to Luke McDonald. Assesses the options. It was a kick trying to be too cute here for Thomas. Picked off by Petrarca. Lays a follow-up tackle on McDonald. Slings him to the ground here, and the umpire will ball up.
Two opportunities.
Basic skills, isn't it?
Two opportunities. So they're on top here at the moment, North. They've been brilliant out of the centre bounce, and then they give away a free kick. So 3 instances there where Simpkin was out, fumbles an easy handball received, poor kick for McDonald, and then, who was it, Big Cherry?
Yeah,
bowls over Clayton Oliver before the ball gets thrown up. So this ball should be deep in the Kangaroos forward line. Now the Demons get a chance.
Oliver drives it long up inside forward 50. Stumped away by Aidan Core in defence. Out the drop, Dunstan. He's brought to ground right on the paint of the arc and will ball it up at centre-half forward for the Demons. It's North who lead 5 straight plays, 4-5. Up in the air it goes. Gawn taps it down here towards Dunstan. Now Oliver mops up. Back to Dunstan, the former Hawk and Saint. Works it up the line now. It's a great mark taken. Tumbling back Turner. 35 around from his defensive goal here for the Kangaroos. They'll start again from that part of the ground.
Short kick to Core. Core across the face. Now Hayden's got a decision to make. He goes shorts. Having to wait for it was Walker, but it took a strong mark. He's at left half back. They've worked this nicely so far, North Melbourne. Now the more difficult kick. He'll go to a contest instead this time, Walker. Towards the wing. A couple of players set themselves. One of them's Larky. Got it on the second attempt out the back. Greenwood tried to shrug a tackle. Umpire comes in and balls it up. So a stoppage just forward of centre wing. North Melbourne lead it by a point. Second quarter is 8 minutes old. They win it on a clearance as well. High kick, but Lever's going to swallow this. Takes the chest mark. Must have been touched. Umpire waves play on. Hand pass out wide to Jordan, who goes towards Jackson. Took it and hit the ground running. Hand pass is okay to Petrarca. Petrarca inside 50 to McDonald. Rifled it. McDonald should have taken the mark. Instead, he's going to win a free kick. In the back paid. Not a lot in that on first observation. Core hangs his head rather than giving his feedback directly. We all knew what he was thinking. McDonald will have a snap in the right forward pocket. Looked like he was injured. Could have been done for the day. Instead, McDonald brings it back with his left boot and kicks his second of the afternoon. None back in the lead by 5 points after 10 minutes.
He hasn't had a good day, Cor, but he was generally unlucky there. There wasn't much in that one. But the ball getting there as a result from Petrarca.
It's a laser, wasn't it?
50-metre, just flat laser. Clearing Core to go to the top to McDonald.
Just dropped the mark in the end, really. Core did take his eyes off the ball at the last minute, but there wasn't much contact there at all. And in the end, you almost shouldn't get rewarded if you drop a mark like that, should you, McDonald?
Free kicks, 11-8 Melbourne's way. Your SMS, welcome, 0437 774 774. Grant, in fact, Wombat in Northampton asks, "G'day, man, great call. Shouldn't it be Narm versus North Narm?" Well, I guess theoretically it kind of could be, but the Demons have had the initiative to sort of adopt the name this week, so I guess until the Kangaroos do likewise, I think Melbourne deserves a credit, but I think in time we'll certainly have something like that as we wait for a clearance. Petrarca out to Neil Bourne. He's dumped in a Luke McDonald tackle. Footy comes loose here for Greenwood. He can't get control of it. Powell hacks it out of the air here for North. It goes towards half forward. Spoiled away down there by Hunt. Out in space now, Dunstan works a hand pass forward, Neil Bourne. He's goal side 52 out in no time at all. Goes inside forward 50. Great spoil away by Aidan Core on Tom McDonald. Bounce loose to the pocket. Bedford runs out of space. Will throw it back in on the City side of the ground. 70 around from the Melbourne goal. It's the Demons who lead by 5 points. 5-5 plays 5 straight. 12 gone second term here on Grandstand AFL.
That's better from Aidan Core, isn't it? Right up his opponent's backside and a big definitive fist out of bounds. Clear the area. Yeah, much better.
Gained 40 metres as well. It's a fair fist. Neil Bullen from the stoppage is mobbed. He's going nowhere. Ball to be tossed up.
It was a Stephen May-like fist, wasn't it? That's what the D's do so well.
Tossed up. Gawn assumes front position. Tried to work it to Jordan. He's taken in a strong tackle. Zeeble from the front. Greenwood from behind. Locked up again. North Melbourne showing good intent around the ball. Tossed up. Gawn. Well, in fact, neither ruckman got to it. And unfortunately for Sherry, he wasn't facing the ball. So umpire had no option there but to give the free kick to Gawn. He'll receive it. A couple of kicks from goal. So Gawn gathers. And then he goes short to the top of 50. It sets Petrarca a chair. Oh, jeez. He's been given a pretty soft in the back free kick as well. So he's got a big smile on his face too, Petrarca. I think he knows he got away with one there. And the North fans aren't happy, it's fair to say.
Give it a voice, don't they?
Yeah.
Their voice. It's good. They're involved in the game. It's only the 10th inside 50 to 2 for the quarter, but hasn't felt like a dominant quarter for the Demons just yet.
Petrarca nurses the kick up the line. It's out of bounds on the full. So, footy justice, say the North fans. Kangaroos have it from the left back pocket. Demons by 5 points. 14 gone second term. Repeating earlier, Geelong by 35 points against Port Adelaide at King Park. It's been turned over again. They get it back from the pocket. Fritsch straightens up and goals. Bradley Fritsch with his second. That is a shocker. And they go out to an 11-point break, the Demons. 6-5-41. North Melbourne 5 straight 30. I'll see a replay of this because I was looking at my notes when that happened, but
can we get a quick look at David Noble too in the box?
This is Kyron Hayden's on the mark.
Well, the option wasn't even there. He was trying to thread a needle that wasn't threadable, and he
actually hit him in the face. Bradley Fritsch. He recovered quickly to snap across on his preferred left side, and that is something that Kyron Hayden, David Noble, and I think everyone in blue and white would rather forget. As Fritsch gets his second, and it's 11 points. The Demons break. Wow.
If you want to see North Melbourne's season so far summed up in one kick, that's it. Oh, he won't want to see that again. Hayden, neither would David Noble. Back in the middle. Well done by Jackson, although intercepted by Greenwood. Kick inside 50. Tough one going back with the flight. Hunt came out strong, kicks off his left. Dunstan running back with a flight, dropped it. Now Spargo goes low, and that's way too low. Unfortunately for Goldstein, who couldn't quite get low enough, caught him high. Spargo with a free kick on the wing for the D's. Spargo, a couple of options centrally. He's going to come towards the boundary, though. Almost can't quite reach it going back, but Fritsch is on a long lead and takes the mark left half forward.
Fritsch gives it a roost up inside forward 50. North have numbers in defence. Spilled down there to Oliver. Snaps across the goal mouth now. Coming late through the air, Jordan. It's out and knocked through for a rush behind by Tom Powell. So we'll have it kicked back in by North Melbourne. It's 12 points the Demons lead midway through this second term here at Docklands.
Short kick is okay. Scott takes the mark. He goes very short as well. Across the face of goal. Core takes it. Short again to Horn Francis. So still 30 metres out from his defensive goal line. Obviously the call has come to work it out slowly and methodically. Davies Uniacke receives a 15-metre pass. Out wider to Turner. And then Turner back inside. Power aggressive kick. Turns it over. Right inside the centre circle. Fritsch onto it. Hand pass to Oliver off the outside of his boot. Kicks good to Melksham. Kept on going to the running Max Corn. Got to the top of 50. Unselfishly finds Cozzy Pickett. Left forward pocket. And he can line up. Difficult kick 15 metres in from the boundary. And he'll have to kick from almost 50.
Just the method, isn't it? They've shown an intent to kick mark and maintain possession out of the back half. But those 45-metre kicks into the centre square, which they telegraph really, against a team like Melbourne, a team defence like Melbourne, not going to work in the long run. They're going to have to change that the ruse.
Left leg heavily strapped. Pickett from 48 strikes that one beautifully. Never looked like missing. And Pickett has his first of the afternoon. And it's the 7th for the D's. 7-6-48. And North Melbourne 5 straight 30. The margin 3 straight goals after 17 minutes in the second term. Brad Sewell and Luke Ball, your experts on Grandstand AFL.
And Melbourne are just clinical when they're getting a turnover in the middle of the ground, right in the centre circle like that. Quick chain, couple of handballs, couple of quick kicks. And when you're giving a handball receive over the top to your ruckman, you know you're having a reasonable day.
I feel like most teams are going to hurt you when they turn the ball over, aren't they, that part of the ground. So just need to adjust that a bit, North. Been way too risky with their ball use through the middle of the ground. Need to try and get that. When they've looked their best this quarter, it's been that run and handball and overlap.
Demons a game high, 18-point lead. Restart back in the middle. Goldstein rises above Jackson. Greenwood goes to clear it, wrapped up by Jackson on the follow-up. Comes loose now for Goldstein. Hand pass inboard, Davies Uniacke. Traps it here at half forward. Gets away from Brayshaw. Run down from behind this time. Great work it was from the D's. And Horn Francis now slips a tackle at full forward. Comes back to Stephen May. Tumbles it back to the junction of 50 where it bounces near the boundary line. Picked up by Taylor. Back inboard now. They go again, the Kangaroos. Inside forward 50. Jackson had Sherry coming the other way. Brayshaw, he's dispossessed. Still a hot footy here. 25 out from North's goal. Still alive now as they go in. Melksham makes a big tackle. The umpire will ball it up. Just seeing a replay of Davies Uniacke's tackle a short time ago. So 25 out here, a 40 stoppage for the Kangaroos, down by 18 points. Brayshaw for Melbourne, out to Bowie, shares it back to Brayshaw, into the back of him was Zeeble. Umpire lets them play. Bowie lays a tackle here, and this time he's spotted the free kick, into the back of Cameron Zurhaar. So Zurhaar in the left forward pocket, no more than 15 out.
Brayshaw, he's had a tough day, Gus Brayshaw. He's very ginger there as he gets up. Just having one of those days at the moment. But good pressure from North. Repeat stoppages inside 50. Not much in the free kick.
Cameron Zurhaar coming off 3 goals 4 against Port last week. He has his second here. And the Kangaroos won't go away as we hit time on second term. They're 6 straight 36. If nothing else, they've been accurate. 7-6-48 the Demons. Margin 12. 20-minute mark, second quarter here at Docklands on Grandstand AFL.
Look, it'll be pretty good at process coming out of the back at half, but their intent in their forward half has been pretty consistent, and it's been pretty good for the most part. Those forward 50 tackles, locking it in, repeat 50 entries, repeat stoppages. They're the types of things David Noble needs to be highlighting at half time.
The centre bounce work's been good too, I reckon. That's where they look like they're on top, just not getting a heap of reward out of it yet, but certainly getting first hands on the footy in the middle of the ground there.
Been a couple of occasions too where they just needed to be a little bit cleaner, and they would have had some very deep inside 50 entries. 666 warning here going against the Roos. Umpire to toss this one up. Jackson v Sherry in the middle. High jump there by Jackson, clattered into Sherry and then did the work at ground level. Hand pass off to Oliver, snap inside 50 off the shin of Pickett, who tried to trap it. Intelligent little toe poke away of Sparrow. Hand pass to a teammate under pressure. Pickett over the top, locking it in. Not much of a chance there for Neil Bullen. Ball up inside Melbourne's attacking 50. They lead by 12 after 21 minutes in the second term.
Up it goes. Sherry taps it down, overrun this time by Sparrow. Ball rerouted here for the Demons. Comes all the way back to Bowie. Feeds off the hand pass. Rivers thumps it back inside forward 50. 2-on-2. Brown reaching from the back. Can't pull it in. Numbers in defence here with the Kangaroos. Slapped away in space. There's Neil Bullen for the Demons. Hand pass back here from Anderson. Luke McDonald. Now they can rebound the football off halfback. It comes on the angle here to Zerha. Back to the wing now. The kick came from Core. It was untidy. Picked up by Lever, back to Brayshaw. Melbourne thumped their way back inside forward 50. 2-on-2 there at the back. Scott in defence for the Kangaroos. Handball's out into space. It's out of bounds. Deliberate! Wow. Now be very careful, Bailey. He can't quite show his feelings because Christian Petrarca has the footy. A free kick, 55 out here for the Demons. He plays on, connects from right on the paint of 50 and rides it all the way home and hits the post, the right-hand side. 7-7-49 the Demons. North Melbourne 6 straight 36. A contentious deliberate against Bailey Scott and the Kangaroos. And the margin here is 13 points.
I don't quite reckon they've had the rub of the green pour on North Melbourne this afternoon with the umps. Short kick out of defence is okay from McDonald. He finds Young, who goes short again. Very short. Almost hit McDonald on the lead. Hayden had a bit of work to do. He goes back to Scott. Pushed off his kick. Long ball off the left. May. Big spoil over the side. And then he's out for a boundary throw in just short of halfway. 6 straight 36 North Melbourne. 7-7-49. Margin 13 points. 23 played second term. Grandstand AFL.
Not many about here at Docklands. Most of the upper tier on the outer side of the ground is empty. In fact, the entire outer side of the ground on the upper tier is empty. Here's Oliver. He's just possessing the tackle. Waiting for a clearance on the City side wing. Umpire lets them players in to ping someone here, holding the ball for keeping it in. And he's going to go against the Demons, and getting up underneath all of that is James Jordans. The Kangaroos work it away. Here is Anderson from just forward of halfway. Drives it inside forward 50. Zerha gets there in the hole, but can't pull in the mark. And he's hit the LED sideboard very heavily as well. And he's getting up to his feet though, so he's okay. A boundary throw in here inside 50 for North Melbourne at the Coventry end of Docklands. It's the Demons here by 13, 24 gone second term.
He's okay, the sideboard, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
Broken sideboard over there.
I was about to say exactly the same thing, the way he operates. Now a chance for North Melbourne, although Oliver rips it away. Hand pass around the boundary line is okay. Tucking back inside, Sparrow receives the hand pass off to the running Jackson. Short kick is good too. Petrarca just paused on it for a moment. Over the top to Rivers, and now to Cozzy Pickett, who just accelerated, looked at his opponent, stared them down from 50, got to 40 and kicked a beautiful goal. He's second of the quarter, and he tugs the Indigenous jersey in celebration. Nice moment there for Cozzy Pickett, and Melbourne have their 8th. 8-7-55. North Melbourne 6 straight 36. Margin a game high 19 points with still 5 minutes left to play in this second quarter.
It's good footy, isn't it, Sully? Just always moving forward handball, always having runners to support. started at the coalface by Oliver, who's just having a game. He's up to 21 possessions now. I think Greenwood's the one that's supposed to be putting some time into him, but he is off the chain at the moment. He needs to put some more time into him. But Petrarca involved again, and he's had a big quarter. He's up to 16. And that much time and space, Cosy Pickett is going to make you pay. Great team goal from the Demons.
By the way, Kaya Nicholson-Ward, the designer of both of these teams' Indigenous Guernseys, which is nice. She was out there as part of the welcome earlier. Here's Gawn, hacks it out of the right, clears here inside forward 50. Out to beat the football is Ben Brown. Hand pass back over the top from Spargo. And now running into trouble here is Sparrow, dispossessed. Back to Spargo. Hand pass picked off by Bailey Scott. The Kangaroos can get away through Perez. Off to Simpkin. He can rebound from left half back. It's an untidy kick bouncing on the outer logo. Trapped here by Powell of North Melbourne. Out to his skipper Zeeble. The run keeps going here. Here is Zerha, 50 from goal. Straightens up, goes long to the hot spot through the hands of Davies Uniacke and into the left-hand goal post. Minor score, North Melbourne. It's their first of the day, mind you. 6-1-37. 26 and a half gone second term. It's the Demons 8-7-55, the margin 18.
Was it going through for a goal, gents?
I think it's one of those grey ones that's close enough. You need to have need to try and mark it. And he should have marked it, to be fair, as well.
Melbourne work it round to the wing. Mark taken by Brown on a long lead in front of Walker. He's told to stop. He did so immediately, so as not to concede the 50-metre penalty. Brown to the point of the square at left half forward. Zeeble, good defensive mark, floating across the front of that pack. North Melbourne skipper has it at half back. Short kick is okay to Turner. Turner's short kick is dicey. It's okay in the end to Taylor. Taylor still backward of centre wing. He's looking defensively. Walker's an option short if he wants. Oh, that's a poor kick.
Simpkin doing.
It was straight to Oliver, and Oliver works the 1-2. He's looking for the run of Jordan. Instead goes into the middle. That kick's a little messy too, although D's with the numbers. Neil Bullen running through. Bounced off one Shepherd. Kick was smothered though. It'll be another opportunity for Spargo to Gawn. His kick off the side of the boot, straight up and down the mine shaft. Massive fist from Core, all the way up to halfway, straight to lever though. It's coming back inside 50.
They go again. Here the Demons up inside 40. There's Tom McDonald. It's knocked out of bounds for a throw-in. 45 around from goal. The Nam Demons attacking end. 8-7-55. North Melbourne 6-1-37. 18 points the margin. 28 gone second term. Brett Sprigg, Andrew Mays, Luke Ball and Brad Sewell with you. Back in it comes. Todd Golstead in front. One down here. Melksham fires on goal. It's offline to the right-hand sideline of score. 8-8-56. Nam now still leads. 6-1-37 North Melbourne. Margin 19. Sorry, Ball.
No, just the short kick mark game, Sully. As the quarters go on, fatigue sets in. It's sort of heart-and-mouth stuff, isn't it? Might need to look at changing that up at half-time. It's just inviting too much pressure from the Melbourne team. They're not able to execute either.
Core from the kick in, goes short to Scott. Short again to Taylor, who takes the mark. Still in the right back pocket. Hayden's pointing towards the boundary. Forced to go long this time. Mays leading everyone. Got up high. Affected the spoil. Horn Francis at ground level. Kick is good too. Spotted Zerha in the middle of 2 Ds and hit him. Zerha 60 from goal on the boundary. Horn Francis kept on running. He went to Larkey instead, cutting across Rivers. Fantastic mark. Fantastic spoil rather. Good courage. Forces the boundary throw in. Deep inside attacking 50 for North Melbourne. Better transition though that time.
Umpire tosses it back in. Gone in front of Goldstein. Goldstein kept his feet, snapped. Great smother it was by May. Bounces clear for Horn Francis. Run down from behind Brayshaw. The umpire will ball it up. 35 out from the Kangaroos' goal. Umpire Lenny Glufsis gets there. Officiating along with Craig Fleer and Cameron Dorr. Our umpires in green this afternoon. Still waiting for it to come loose. Bundled over in amongst all of that is Paul Curtis for North, and again we'll ball it up. 25 out from the North Melbourne goal. The Demons by 19, approaching the half-hour mark here, second term.
Tossed up, Goldstein just missed Horn Francis with the tap. Sparrow ground level. He's taken in a strong tackle by Davies Uniacke, again going nowhere. North Melbourne able to hold it in.
Constantly moving Horn Francis through these stoppages.
Let's see what he's got in store for us here. Gorm won it down that time. Davies Uniac looking for the hand pass. Turned over there. That man, Oliver, might have been held without it at ground level. Just smashes it to Lever. Lever, good hand pass too to Brayshaw. Brayshaw out wider still. 1-on-1. McDonald got there. Dropped the mark. Recovered though at ground level. Hand pass back to Sparrow. Pauses on his kick. Forced to snap around the boundary. The kick is okay, although it gets over the head of Bedford, the sub, who is on this afternoon. North Melbourne work it out through a chain of hand passes. Turner in board. Kick is okay. Finds Taylor just shy of the centre circle.
Flares it wide now. Commentary side marked by Bailey Scott. Every player on the ground inside the attacking half here for the Kangaroos. Nam lead by 19. Shanks the kick here as Curtis Taylor. It works out okay though, Taron Thomas. Points it back inside the attacking 50. Running start from Zerha. Had two to beat. At the drop was a free kick. Taken high. It will go the way of the Demons, getting up Stephen May.
It's okay though, isn't it, from Zerha? You've got to make him earn it, Stephen May. You know he likes to back himself in the air and mark. He's going to do that. Drop in front of the leading forward.
31 going second term. 8-8-56 plays 6-1-37. It's Nam in front of North Melbourne.
Rivers has the ball. Left back pocket.
Look at the little 5 minutes here, North. Just been able to play the game in their forward half.
Kicks towards Gawn, who got in front of Goldstein. Off the pack, though. Brilliantly roved by Neil Bullen. Running through the wing. Off to Sparrow. Back to Neil Bullen. Gets to centre half forward. Takes a bounce. Fires from 50. Low ball. Misses. Left-hand side. Could have finished some nice work there, Alex Neil Bullen. 8-9-57 now. North Melbourne 6-1-37. 20 points the margin. 32 played second quarter.
Game high lead. Scott works it back to Luke McDonald of the Kangaroos. Beyond offensive 50 they come. Out to a one-on-one. Over the top of Larkey. Brayshaw can get there first, and Brayshaw runs out of room. Every throw in city side wing. Reminder, federal election coverage coming up in about 15 minutes' time, so we'll release you to that on local radio right across the nation. You can keep finding us on ABC Sport Digital and the official AFL app. Just find the ABC iconic worm to hear our coverage of the second half. Inside 50, the Demons go now. Ben Brown tries to trap the footy, picked off by Scott of the Kangaroos. Untidy hand pass from Walker. Scott tumbles at beyond defensive 50 again, almost trapped by Hunt. Going in hard here is Paul Curtis. Wrapped up, spun around, dispossessed. Comes back here to Rivers of Nam. Standing start here, comes wide out of Spargo. But that will be the halftime siren here at Docklands. They were staying with them for a while, North Melbourne. They did get back in front early stages second term, but the margin is 20 at the half. Nam 8-9-57. That's the Demons. North Melbourne 6-1-37 here. Goal kickers in this game so far. We saw a second in that second term for Bailey Fritsch. Two. In fact, both of Cosy Pickett's goals came in the second quarter as well. Tom McDonald has his second, and Ed Langdon, who was subbed out, and Trent Rivers also have goals. Those are your 8 goals for Melbourne. Meanwhile, for North Melbourne, 2 to Zerha, singles to Horn Francis, Larkey, Goldstein, and I'm missing one here, am I, for North Melbourne? Zerha, in fact, has 3. So there you go. Those are the goal kickers with a 20-point break to Nam. At half-time here at Docklands. Early at Kinnia Park in Geelong, the Cats beat Port Adelaide by 35 points, 11-16-82 to 7-5-47. While in Ballarat, the Bulldogs, 15-16-106, beat the Gold Coast Suns 13-9-87, a 19-point victory there. To help us make sense of the first half here on Grandstand AFL, Luke Ball and Brad Sewell.
Paulie, Kangaroos are clearly trying to play a certain style of football out of the back half, and on occasions it's getting through, but they just don't have the personnel and the skill to be able to execute. That said, when they have been able to trap their ball in their forward 50, they've looked dangerous. There's been repeat stoppages, there's been forward pressure, there's been tackles inside 50. It's just that transition piece that that'd be nice to see them kick long down the line and maybe play more a game style that will create some more contests.
Yeah, it's interesting. It felt like North's clearance work, certainly out of the centre bounce, surely has been pretty good. in terms of getting first hands on the ball, and I think the numbers reflect that. They just haven't been, we spoke about it through the first half a couple of times, just trying to overpossess, create something that's not there, rather than taking the space. We know what a centre bounce, 6-6-6, you've got forwards ahead of the ball. That's your best opportunity against Melbourne, because it doesn't give them the opportunity to play as a team defence. So you'd love to see them just be a bit more definitive and concise out of the centre, but when you look at the numbers, it probably doesn't tell. I mean, the 20 points probably doesn't tell the full tale, does it? They've had 17 scoring shots to 7 and 38 inside 50s to 19. So they've certainly had a lot more of the ball, Melbourne. But it feels like that North have had a crack. They've held up okay under pressure.
Got to wrap you quickly because we have election coverage coming up at
Feels like
6 o'clock Eastern.
Fair enough.
Well, we'll have news coming up shortly and then news again at 6 o'clock. So I don't want to have the news, sport and so close together. So more expansive thoughts from Luke Ball and Brad Sills shortly. But it's 20 points the margin here. Narm 8-9-57, North Melbourne 6-1-37. Time for us to head to ABC News.
ABC News with Satyam Weinstein. Both Labor and the Coalition have made a final push for votes as the election campaign comes to a close. Elias Clore reports from Parliament House.
Both Anthony Albanese and Scott Morrison have closed out their marathon campaigns. Both leaders began the day on the hustings in Melbourne before returning to their home electorates in Sydney, where they cast their own ballots. Mr Albanese says he's left it all out on the field.
I've done my best for the cause of Labor.
Well, the Prime Minister says he was looking forward to a short break.
I'm going to go home and spend some time with my family.
They're not expected to appear again until later tonight at the respective party events. The counting of ballots begins at 6 p.m.
The Federal Court has ordered the removal of green-coloured signs after an election day challenge by Labor over complaints they were misleading Melbourne voters. Here's Nicole Asher.
Labor lodged an urgent court bid this morning, saying members of its campaign team witnessed people they say were from the Liberal camp putting up signs in several Melbourne seats, including Higgins. It's a key seat to watch this election and is held by the Liberal MP Katie Allen on a 2.6% margin. Dr Allen has denied any knowledge of the signs, which urge voters to put Labor last. The signs state they're authorised by the Business Owners and Contractors Union. The ALP claims the signs are misleading because they use the same colour scheme as the Greens Party.
The Deputy Prime Minister, Barnaby Joyce, says he's preparing for the prospect the government may be defeated. Mr Joyce has voted in his safe seat of New England. He says he's grateful for the opportunity to return to the leadership of the National Party last year, 3 years after resigning when his details of his extramarital affair were made public. Mr Joyce says he hopes the government can scrape over the line.
No matter what, it's been an incredible honour. If it continues on, it continues on. If it doesn't, then that was the choice of the Australian people, and the choice of the Australian people is always the right choice, whatever choice they make.
Polling continues across Western Australia. The focus is on the state's marginal seats. The Coalition holds 10 of the state's 15 seats, but Labor has its sights on taking Swan, Pearce and Hasluck. Ella Barconi voted in the electorate of Swan this morning and says climate change was the driving force behind her vote.
Healthcare is a big one for me. I'm a healthcare worker, and climate is a huge one as well, which has definitely influenced how I voted in my local election.
The United Nations is warning of famine and destabilisation with global hunger levels at a new high amid a continued plunge in the supply of grain. Russia's invasion of Ukraine has significantly impacted global markets, along with a ban on the export of wheat from India. The General Manager of Rabobank's Food and Agribusiness Research Division, Stefan Vogel, says the rise in the price of grain is creating instability and the world needs to cut back on grain consumption.
We actually can't grow. We need to reduce year over year, and that means high prices. That also means that usually the poorest of the poorest will face an increased number of people starving.
US officials say President Joe Biden is expected to discuss nuclear cooperation and the threat from North Korea as he holds talks with his South Korean counterpart, Yoon Suk-yeol. The BBC's Jean McKenzie has more.
As the leaders sit down now in private, their attention turns to security and the threat of North Korea. For years, the United States has been unable to get the North to engage in nuclear talks. All the while, it's continued developing its weapons. South Korea's president wants assurances that the US is ready to defend it from its increasingly hostile neighbour.
WA Premier Mark McGowan is denying reports that St John's Ambulance will leave patients at emergency departments to avoid ambulance ramping. There were reports that St John had been advised to leave patients capable of walking themselves into the emergency department. Mr McGowan says suggestions made in 2020 have been misinterpreted.
What's been suggested in the reports is wrong and it will not be occurring. I think what it was, as part of the COVID plan set up in 2020, there's various sort of suggestions as to what could occur in certain circumstances.
Homicide Squad detectives are investigating the death of a baby in Melbourne's outer northeast. Police say the 6-month-old was found dead at a home in Mernda. The child's mother was also found with life-threatening injuries and has been flown to hospital. Authorities say they're not looking for anyone else in connection with the death at this stage. And police in the ACT have raided a house at Greenway in Canberra's south, allegedly seizing drugs in a drug press as part of an ongoing operation targeting outlaw motorcycle gangs. You're up to date with the very latest from ABC News.
Can art and creativity heal invisible wounds?
It takes a lot to come out and talk about mental health.
Now, a unique social experiment hosted by Natalie Bassingthwaite harnesses the healing quality of art.
All will be revealed.
To find out if art can build a brighter future for our mental health.
I think you found your thing. You've nailed it.
Space 22, Tuesday nights on ABC TV or log in to stream on ABC iView.
This is Sir Doug Nicholls Round
Grandstand AFL
on ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
On the half volley for goal scene. Back to Davies Uniacke, still running. Comes with a high kick inside forward 50. Although that down there was Larky, and he wins the free kick. Larky's 8 goals, 18 this season. Here he makes no mistake. And they get the first goal of the second quarter.
Zerha there as well. He almost took Brayshaw down, who went to ground in the end. Umpire's going to pick him here for holding the ball. Says he dragged it in. There's Zerha and Greenwood, I reckon, if I was a North fan from this position. And he makes absolutely no mistake. North Melbourne have the lead by a point. Petrarca inside 50 to McDonald, rifled it. McDonald should have taken the mark. Instead, he's going to win a free kick. McDonald brings it back with his left boot and kicks his second of the afternoon. Kept on going to the running back, scored, got to the top of 50, unselfishly finds Cozzy Pickett, left forward pocket from 48, strikes that one beautifully. Never looked like missing. Petrarca just paused on it for a moment. Over the top to Rivers, and now to Cozzy Pickett, who just accelerated, looked at his opponent, stepped him down from 50, got to 40 and kicked a beautiful goal. He's second of the quarter, and he tugs the Indigenous jersey in celebration.
The Sir Doug Nicholls Round
on ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Half-time at Docklands, it's Narm 8-9-57, North Melbourne 6-1-37, the margin 20 points for those. I think everyone's across this, but of course the Melbourne Football Club, as they're usually known, have adopted the traditional place name of the Victorian capital, Melbourne, as Narm, as it's known to the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. So it's a special thing they're doing for Sir Doug at Nicholls Round. Of course, both of these next couple of rounds. And it's fantastic. Should be applauded, and we'll do our best. I did see a texter here suggesting that they're not the Demons or Melbourne or the D's today. I don't believe that to be the case. I think we try and work it in as well as we can. But if you are confused, I think everyone's across the NARM name change. But there will be the occasional Demons or D's, because I wouldn't call them Melbourne the entire time either. But appreciate your text, 0437 774 774. It's a nice first half from them, but North Melbourne certainly staying with them at times throughout the first half. You're with Brett Sprigg, Andrew Mays, Luke Ball and Brad Sewell, dropping you off to election coverage on local radio shortly. If you want to keep listening, it's via ABC Sport Digital or the official AFL app. Just find the ABC button there. And you'll have, of course, coverage of Dreamtime at the G coming up later on those platforms. And if you're listening through ABC Sport Digital in South Australia, it'll be Adelaide up against St Kilda at Adelaide Oval. Earlier at Glendia Park, the Cats beat Port Adelaide 11-16-82 to 7-5-47, a 35-point win there. Jeremy Cameron and Tyson Stengel each kicked 3 goals. And Cam Guthrie had 38 touches. Meanwhile, for Port, Robbie Gray, Todd Marshall and Kane Farrell each had a couple there. And in Ballarat, the Bulldogs had a win against the Gold Coast Suns, 15-16, 106 to 13-987. So a 19-point win there big day for Western Victoria with the games in Geelong and Ballarat. And for the Gold Coast Suns, Joel Jeffrey kicked 5 goals straight. He had 5 marks and a couple of tackles as well. But Bontempelli had 24 touches, 3 goals too. Aaron Norton had 3 goals too as well, while Bailey Smith and Jack McRae each had 34 touches in the Bulldogs win against the Gold Coast Suns. So it takes them up to just on the cusp of the top 8. The Bulldogs now up into 9th with their 5th win of season 2022. What a great credit, it must be said, for this game today. Of course, North Melbourne up against the benchmark of the competition in the unbeaten Demons, chasing a 17th straight win. The Oz Kickers are still out there, and the two teams will make their way back onto Docklands very, very shortly. And we'll get more thoughts from Brad Sewell and Luke Ball very shortly as well. But we are coming up to election coverage, so if you want to keep listening to the AFL this evening, as I say, tune into ABC Sport Digital as of right now, or the official AFL app. Just look for the ABC worm. But if you are listening to us on ABC Local Radio, you are now off to the federal election coverage with Sabra Lane and Raph Epstein. So federal election coverage coming up on local radio, and you can keep listening to us on the digital platforms coming up very shortly. But we carry on here at Docklands with the second half just moments away. More thoughts of Brad Sewell and Luke Ball at the half, where Naarm leads North Melbourne by 20 points.
I think I've let a few Melbourne and D's slip in that first half, so I'll do my best in the second half.
Demons and D's are okay, and I'm trying to contextualise, I suppose, the name change for those tuning in not knowing what's going on, but the reality is I think most of us are across it, so yes,
they
actually
are calling themselves the Naarm Demons on all their social media as well.
There we go.
Very good.
They're happy to be referred to as the D's still. Yeah.
Well, they've been okay. I think we know that this team's got gears and they tend to rise to the challenge, but they certainly have had a contest. I think Melbourne, 33 tackles, that would show that they're having a crack, Sully, that their intensity and effort around the contest has been pretty good. I think late in quarters we spoke about their desire to play a bit of a kick-mark game out of half-back, and a couple of times a few of their younger, inexperienced players led to mistakes. I think it's fair to say, and we know that any team, but particularly the benchmark of the competition, are sweating on those mistakes, and they duly made them pay. And 17 scoring shots to 7, they could be a little bit further ahead, we know, and 38 inside 50s to 19. So all things considered, you'd have to say that North's back six have held up okay under the circumstances, and they've been aided at times by the pressure of their midfield. And I think North's biggest weapon today is the centre bounce and out of the middle. I think their ruckmen have competed pretty well through there, and at times they've had pretty clean hands on the footy and first use of the footy. They just haven't been clean enough with their execution out of their centre bounce. And we know that against this Melbourne team, the best chance to score against them is out of the centre bounce. When they're one-on-one, behind the footy, they don't have a chance to get their team, their zone in place and to be able to come off and support each other. So, Melbourne certainly feel like they're in control. We know that these two teams are at opposite ends of the ladder, clearly, but also their development. So we spoke early on in the piece about the lesson that these young Kangaroos are going to get today. And I think through the middle of the ground, they've shown bits. I think Davies Uniacke, 15 possessions. Simpkins had 13. Young Bailey Scott has had, he had 19 behind the ball. And Luke McDonald always gives his all as well. He's had 19. And they're going to get a really good lesson today from who we think is the premier midfield in the competition. I think Clayton Oliver is just at the peak of his powers, and he's had 24 possessions. You just watch him; he just never stops moving through the stoppage and around the ground. He just works from contest to contest. An unbelievable player. Petrarca has had moments of brilliance. He's been workmanlike also as well. So you'd say that across the board from a midfield group, Melbourne have just shaded North, but North young mids are going to gain plenty of good experience from today. You just love to see them, perhaps, I think at times against this Melbourne team, and I know there's a reluctance because they're so good at coming off and supporting each other in the air, but at times at the back half, you have to take your medicine and kick long to a contest, get some numbers at the contest, and then surge forward from there. And they're able to do that a couple of times later in that quarter and give themselves scoring opportunities. But you do get the feeling that Melbourne at some stage will want to put a decent gap on them, put the foot down a bit, and then the challenge is with this young North team to be able to withstand that. But all in all, I think from an effort point of view, you couldn't question North intent today.
And that would have been David Noble's message, you would imagine, at halftime, just to continue cracking in and, be aware that we are playing against the benchmark and we are playing against two of the best mids in the competition, Petrarca and Clayton Oliver. And what stood out for me is just their cleanliness, their one touch, their work rate clearly, but they just don't fumble. And on the occasion, as you said, Paulie, when North have been out, when the Kangaroos have been out in space, the handball is just behind, it's gone straight through the mitts, whatever it may have been, and that's just halted their entire flow of play. And I mean, I don't necessarily mind that the chip mark process out of the back half. When you start going into the middle of the ground during that process, you're just playing into Melbourne's hands, and it opens up the entire fat side of the ground. And invariably, Melbourne had a number of scoring shots from that fashion. But for North and Kangaroos, it's just a continual pressure, lock it in their forward half, get as many of those repeat stoppages, those tackles which we've seen at times. And yes, the scoreboard is somewhat flattering. They've kicked straight 6-1 to 8-9, and you would expect for Melbourne, for Nam, they'll put the foot down for 10-15 minutes and the game will be over.
You feel like for North, if you want to sort of describe their method, it's that control ball use out of the back half, get it to halfway, and then you'd love to see them generate some overlap run once they get their hands on the footy there to try and put this Melbourne team defence under pressure. So slow build, kick mark out of the back half, get it to halfway. Whereas at times they've tried to force it through the middle of the ground, in their back half, and that's where Melbourne have really easily picked them off and scored from turnover the other way. So I think you're right. Controlling the footy's fine. Get it to halfway, then try and generate some run. Try and get Thomas involved. Davis Uniacke looks best when he's breaking lines and tucking the ball under his arm. Zurhaar's looked dangerous, hasn't he? He's looked really lively forward of the ball. Young Brayshaw's certainly got his hands full down there. So, but you'd love to see them. It looks like Horn Francis is going to go forward as well, and we know he's a really good one-on-one player. So you just love to see them generate a bit more energy on the footy forward of centre to put the Melbourne defenders under pressure.
Repeating, Ed Langdon subbed out at quarter time, so Toby Bedford's out there, the sub for the Demons. No official word on what Ed Langdon's problem was as far as what caused him to be subbed out. He was the victim of a huge tackle from Taron Thomas in the first term, which knocked the wind out of him. But anyway, he's been subbed, so repeating that information from earlier today. 20 points the margin. Nam 8-9-57, North Melbourne 6-1-27. Second half about to get underway. Here is Andrew Mays on Grandstand AFL.
Goldstein to do battle with Jackson in the ruck this time to start the second half. North Melbourne with a challenge ahead. They trail by 20 points heading into this third term. Good bounce in the middle. Coming through again, Davies Uniacke, just not quite as clean at the crucial moment. Spilt it. Oliver got it onto the boot quickly, but he was caught high. So it'll come all the way back to the middle. Oliver feeling the back of his head as he was crunched in the tackle. Max Gawn does him no favours. In fact, I think Gliffin's going to help out there and throw it back to Oliver, who takes it from the centre circles and it just goes long, straight back to Gawn. Got the run on his opponent there, but couldn't get a fly at the ball. Taylor off hands, was looking for the ball, fell over. Fritsch taken in a strong tackle. Ball spurts out the side of that pack. Hand pass from Curtis over the head there of Goldstein and out for a boundary throw-in. Umpire was satisfied that Goldstein was close enough. A few players asking the question. 20 points the margin in favour of Nam.
No change to our half-time score. Umpire will toss it back in. At the Coventry end. As he's in attack. Petrarca. There's a fend here on Simpkin. Works a hand pass away. Bounce clear of Dunstan. Scott can try to ricochet it clear. It's now Bowie who goes inside forward 50, but it's Mark now sliding in, marking Perez. 40 out from defensive goal. 8-9 plays 6-1. Nam by 20.
He spots Siebel at the corner of his eye. Long kick, didn't have the penetration. Great spoil by Brayshaw. Going back with the flight, work to do. Got his fist in there without giving away the free kick from front on as well. Ball over the boundary line for a throw in, 70 around from the D's goal. Blackman set themselves. Goldstein and Jackson. Goldstein reached over the top. Simpkin. Just couldn't quite get the hand pass out to Davies-Uniacke. Now Oliver off one step. Kicks towards the top of 50. Hayden trying to keep this in. Didn't make a great effort. Umpire happy enough that he had enough steam up that he couldn't halt his momentum. Ball to be thrown in 55 from the D's goal this time.
Easier said than done, but I think they have to put some time into Clayton Oliver now. You'll end up with 50 possessions if they don't.
Back in it comes, Oliver. There's another run by him. Goldstein hand pass, threads it through here to Simpkin, hurries it off that left peg, high in the air. Taron Thomas standing strong. Zeeble, his kick smothered by Lever. He goes in, taps it out here to the advantage of Harrison Petty. And now Zeeble comes up with it for North. Inside 50 he goes, which is marked by Stephen May. Second right, pulls it down. The intercept. And they'll start again here off half back. Brayshaw off a step. Well weighted pass here for Petrarca. Off to Neil Bullen. This is 8th inside 50. A career high for him. Inside 50 he goes again, but it's marked by Aidan Corr in the right back pocket for North Melbourne.
Corr short outside of defensive 50. Mark taken by Young. 37 plays 57. With a 20-point advantage. Kick around the corner is okay to find Curtis. He's thinking about going short. Right half back still. Pulls the trigger on the kick. Inboard. It's good. To Davies-Uniacke. He hits Simpkin on the bounce. Shocking hand pass at the ankles of Scott. Did him no favours. Then Simpkin misses the target by foot as well. Set Walker a challenge. Hand pass over the top is okay. And working around to Perez, and then on to Horne-Francis by hand back to Perez, who can get to 50. Hand pass inside to Davies-Uniacke. Turns, snaps. Does it bend enough? Not quite enough. One behind. Good movement from North. It was a little iffy coming out of defence, but forward of centre that was much better. 6-2-38. Make fire 8-9-57. Margin 19 points. Just an update on Ed Langdon. It is from that tackle. Okay. Sore ribs. Wasn't able to make it back out onto the park. So yeah.
We do see clubs on the side of caution with rib injuries, don't we? And possible internal injuries, which Taron Thomas himself was actually on the receiving end of a few weeks ago against the West Coast Eagles. Up the line. Kick here for Anderson in space. Slap to advantage now. They can get it going. Corr off half back. Floats it back to Luke McDonald. Comes back inboard now for Walker. On the city wing, on the logo. Works it back by hand. Now Luke McDonald again. Driving kick inside forward. 50. Zeeble! Towering grab in the contest with Brayshaw. And the Kangaroos skipper marks it 45 out directly in front.
Better ball.
Nice transition, wasn't it?
Better ball use, wasn't it? Yeah, that's what we speak about. A nice, safe, short kick with some overlap handball. Able to penetrate the Melbourne zone a bit more, the Melbourne team defence, and get it over the back into space.
Might have to park the SMS line because I think they're sharing the SMS line with the federal election coverage. So we're getting some angry texters from political punters texting in and wondering about this or that. And it's well above my pay grade, Sully and Wally. So anyway, Zeeble on the approach from 48. It is right to the line and there. The ideal start for North Melbourne in this second half at Docklands. They close the gap to 13 points, 7-2-44. The Demons 8-9-57. We've played now 5.5 minutes in this third term on Grandstand AFL.
It's a balance, isn't it? We spoke at half-time about them being too risky, pulling the trigger with those inside kicks, and Melbourne hurting on the turnover. It's a real balance between that and just taking some calculated risks to try and make the ground bigger. If you attack up and down the line against Melbourne, we know that doesn't work either. And the first 5 minutes of this quarter, they've been able to stretch Melbourne's team defence out nicely through some reasonably low-risk options, and they've been able to execute well. But the key has been that overlap handball to be able to get the ball forward to centre, into that launch pad, if you call it that, 75, 80 metres out, and get a bit of distance on that forward entry.
Plenty of good signs for North Melbourne here this afternoon. They're within 13 points, 5.5 minutes into the third term. Oliver from the stoppage. Hand passes over his head to no one in particular. Then he shoved Anderson on the floor. Spun out of a tackle. Got the hand pass to Gawn. Outstanding work. Gawn got the hand pass. Turned it over though. Straight to Zeeble. Now to Simpkin. Shocking hand pass going forward. Turned the ball over. Curtis should have won the free kick for holding it. Kick inside 50. Larkey pushed onto his backside. Zerha's there as well. He just soccers off the ground. He knew Larkey was out the back. Couldn't get it to him. Meanwhile, Greenwood snaps and just misses left-hand side, and there's a bit going on too as well afterwards. Greenwood not happy with the treatment that Stephen May was giving Zerha on the ground, and went over to sort things out. So 2 straight kicks, the margin, 6 gone, third quarter on Grandstand AFL.
Would be a bad cage fight between May and Zerha, I reckon.
Hunt dumps it long beyond defensive 50, gone up in front. Jordan out to it now, gets some support from Neil Bourne. Neil Bourne shrugs the tackle, comes up the other side, and Jackson marks uncontested, just forward of the wing.
The weight division below Zerha, but I don't reckon it'd worry him.
No, he would take a step back, would he?
Jackson comes in more to Oliver. His 29th touch here was a handball. Comes all the way back here to Jordan. Loads up inside forward 50. Back with the flight down there, Lockie Young. Cosy Pickett is lurking, but it's out of bounds for a throw-in. 10 around from the Narm goal. The Coventry end. Demons here by 12 points. 7.5 played third term.
Any more election pearls there on the SMS?
Oh, there's a whole lot of... I want to try and work out a filter to try and work them through.
From the stoppage, Neil Bullen tackled, just got his boot to ball, went nowhere though. North Melbourne with numbers, Powell handball over the top. Curtis has to make the right decision here on his left boot. It was a good kick, travelled about 8 metres, paid the mark with Davies Uniac. Back to a running Lockie Young, forward of centre. It's going to work out too. Anderson got it on his boot quickly, turned it over. At centre half forward, Zeeble no chance as Melksham cut in front of him. His kick outside of defensive 50 sets Brown a task, able to gather on the bounce. Kick is okay to Dunstan beyond the wing.
So Dunstan marks. And they stream forward for him. Oliver goes back inboard. Laterally here to Harrison Petty. One punter says here, is a hung parliament going to happen? What are your thoughts, Sully? Loads up inside forward 50. 45 here from the Narm goal. It's thumped out of bounds for a throw-in. Someone says, a political scientist, are you kidding me? Do we call her a doctor? It's best I just leave these texts. They're not for us, but it gives you some idea of the, I guess, the passion, if you like, Maisie, as far as what comes through in these situations. 12 points, the Demons away here, early stages, third term.
Toss back into play. Gawn, run it down. And then taken in a strong tackle and dispossessed was Perez, and then Oliver was caught in possession too. Umpire playing things on here. Brayshaw, snap high inside 50. Good mark taken by Young going back with the flight. Had to wait for it, took it on his chest. Left back pocket for the Roos. They trail by 2 goals, almost 10 minutes played third term Grandstand AFL.
Muzz says, loving the call, go numb. That's for us. Thank you, Muzz. Beyond defensive 50, and Goldstein thumps it out of bounds for a throw-in in front of us broadcast side. Yes. 8-9 plays 7-3. Approaching the halfway mark of this third term here on Grandstand AFL. Again, the umpire toss it back in. Sherry and Gawn get tangled. At the drop here, Flynn Perez works a hand pass for Luke McDonald. Thumps it high through the corridor. Up inside forward 50. May gets back, but it's actually coming in from the side. Harrison Petty. A nice pack mark. It is paid going his way. 40 out from defensive goal here for the D's.
Just going to find a way to get that to ground. Isn't he, big Nick Larkey? He can't get out marked at his size. He hasn't taken many marks himself today.
Petty wide to Lever. Lever low ball. Brown couldn't mark it. Swooping on it was Petrarca. Penetrating kick inside 50. McDonald did everything but take the mark. Dropped it last moment. Core just got rid of it to Young, who went defend. Umpire's decision to make, and she says, I'll have it. 20 metres out directly in front. Chance here for the D's.
Good tackle, Spargo. That's what he's in the team for, isn't it?
Up they go. Jackson and Sherry. Down here, Perez was shoved. The umpire spotted the free kick. It will go the way of the Kangas. That time it was Spargo infringing on Perez. Wide to Aidan Call, the former Giant. And he can just work it a little wider still to Lockie Young. Still at right full back here for North Melbourne. They trail by just 12 points. Of course, the Demons unbeaten in their past 16 games. It's off hands and out for a throw-in at right half-back here for the Kangaroos. They've lost their past 7, North Melbourne, so that's the run they're looking to break at some stage. Perhaps today, you never know. Down by 2 goals. 12 gone third term.
Thrown back into play. Plenty of good signs for North so far. Big tackle by Sherry. There's another good one for them as well. Dispossessed his opponent. Greenwood emerges from the stoppage. Hand pass to Simpkin off his left. High ball, centre half forward. Big fist from Lever. Perez just missed it. Received the hand pass though from McDonald. Kick inside 50 is a wobbly one. Just getting a hand to it was Goldstein. Couldn't trap it. These have the numbers. Slipping over at the last moment was Neil Bullen. So a turnover ball, centre half forward for the Roos. McDonald rifles one inside 50, but not enough penetration on it. And chopping in front to take the mark is Spargo.
So they get back hard, don't they? Those high forwards of Melbourne really get back to support the defence and release hard forward.
Jackson marks on the wing, off to Jordan, thumps up the line here through the fingertips of Max Gawn. At the back here for the Kangaroos is Kane Turner. Beyond defensive 50 he goes to find Curtis Taylor. At right half back, angles the kick inboard now for Core. Just holds things for a moment, Aidan Core. Uncontested, Simpkin takes the mark, back edge of the square. 12 points here, the Nam lead. The Kangaroos trail but have some momentum, if you like, early stages third term. Back inside 50 for Turner, and now Walker marks. They switch back to the left-hand side now beyond defensive 50. It comes back to Kyron Hayden at left half-back.
Hayden short. Kick his okay to Young. Young deciding how to thread his way through this demon zone. Finds Powell, back to Young by hand, and then a short kick is okay too to Anderson. Anderson over halfway to left half forward. Curtis takes the mark. He can go quickly as well. Onto that nice left boot to the top of the square. Lucky almost took the mark. Greenwood hand pass was out. Outstanding to Sherry, who snaps the goal at the top of the square. Well worked by the Roos, and they are right in this contest. The D's 8-9-57. North Melbourne within a goal. 8-3-51. We've played 13 minutes in the third term on Grandstand AFL.
Great passage of play, wasn't it? The Kangaroos, that build-up that we have been critical of, Paulie, but Melbourne kept on dropping back, and that allowed the Kangaroos to continually hit up. They got some overlap run, continued creating that space for the ball, and importantly, it was Larkey who brought the ball to ground in that contest in the hot spot, forward 50. Fantastic finish.
Great handball, Greenwood, wasn't it? Won the contested footy, the ground ball inside 50. Great handball over the top of Cherry. But spot on, Sully. Really say it against the Demons, but they found the lazy one, didn't they? Every time that they challenged the Melbourne defence, Melbourne players wanted to drop off, so they took the easy option, got it forward of centre. Then they created the overlap handball. Lovely deep kick from Taylor, I think it was. Gave him the opportunity to score.
Tristan Sherry back from his foot injury, one of the 4 inclusions for the Kangas here. They win the clearance here, though, the Demons. Up they go through Sparrow inside 50 at the back. Ben Brown gives away the free kick. So they go the way of Walker. And the last line of defence here for the Kangaroos. He's been among their better players this year, Josh Walker, for sure. Beyond defensive 50, and now Turner marks at right half back.
See him snap into action a bit here, the D's. It's almost as if they,
untidy kick, and now it's knocked out of bounds by Luke Dunstan for a throw-in. 65 around from the Nam goal. They still lead by 6 points, 8-9-57. North Melbourne 8-3-51. 15 gone third term.
It's more like it. Sniffing a turnover. It almost as if at the start of this third quarter they were happy just to cruise along a bit. But North have made them snap into action here.
Goldstein to Thomas, who's taking in a strong tackle, going nowhere. Another stoppage. Does feel like it's been a stoppage-heavy game this afternoon. Thrown up immediately. Emerging through the traffic was Sparrow. Low kick inside 50. Gawn couldn't take the mark. Rich Rose from behind. Snap with his left. Running away from goal. Couldn't bring it back far enough. Margin extends to 7 points after 15 minutes in the third quarter.
Sully, why is there such a stigma around voting Green Teal Independent? Does this stigma continue to be perpetuated by monitored, controlled media? Their policies appear more reasonable, however, they seem to continue yada, yada, yada.
The defensive 50. Three-quarter time. I want 5 minutes from Sully on that.
Lord Francis gathers, had Harrison Petty at his back, and he gives away, it's going to be a ball up. So a ball up at left half back here for the Kangaroos.
I concur.
Going through thick and fast, they are on the text. And most of them are not for us, of course, with the election coverage happening concurrently. Goldstein down to Oliver. His kick smothered. Out after it here, Dunstan reaching for it. Oliver goes again. Has to compete against Horn Francis. Does well, the number one draft pick. Hand pass, though, not so tidy. Picked off by Jackson. Out wide now for the Demons and Spargo. In step, goes inside. Forward 50. Gawn leads up and marks in the pocket. 35 out.
That's smart. Brilliant handball from Luke Jackson. Got down on his knees, the big fella, and handball to the voice, I think, of Charlie Spargo. Getting to the stage where he's almost an underrated player, Spargo, isn't he? He's not just a role player. He's such a neat and smart footballer. So many score involvements for them week in, week out.
Max Gawn on a 45-degree angle. The Premiership captain, 5-time All-Australian. Couple of best and fairests. This, a potential settler in this third term for the D's. They lead by 7 points. Gawn, studded approach. It goes across the face for a minor score. It's only now a margin of 8 points the Demons' way. 8-11-59. North Melbourne 8-3-51. We've played 18 minutes of this third term here at Docklands on Grandstand AFL.
Kick out short to Call. Call goes back across the face of goal. Turner takes the mark. Right edge of his defensive goal square. Short again to Core, who kept on running into the right back pocket.
Feel like a bit more urgency in the Melbourne side now. Kangaroos haven't got that space to transition out for the back half.
Core long. Goldstein left it. Mark taken over the back by Larkey, who was fourth in line. Larkey a long way from home. He'll kick from right half back. Anderson is the option short. That's where he heads on the 45. They can switch here if they like North. Anderson instead is going to go just beyond the wing. Didn't give Thomas any favours with that kick. And then dragged over for a boundary throwing. Good pressure from Goldstein, and Rivers can't do much. In fact, Jordan rather can't do much about that. So a ball to be tossed in on the wing. 51 plays 59. None with an 8-point lead. 18 minutes played third term. Grandstand AFL.
Through centre wing out of side. Back in it comes. Jackson rises above Goldstein. Overrun that time by Davies Uniacke. Going in hard there again was Anderson. One away though by Jordan of the Demons. Dunstan gives a don't argue. Hand pass picked off though by Powell. Now back away here the Kangaroos to the middle of Docklands. Marked by Brayshaw. Second got by the better of Greenwood. Angus Brayshaw controls it here. And comes wide back to Spargo. On the logo, Dockside wing. By 8, as Andrew Mays mentioned, up inside 50. Brown in the contest with Walker, and a free kick for a hold going the former Kangaroos' way.
Simon Goodwin getting a little bit edgy down there. Yet do we think he's just backing his players? Continue the process.
I was going to say, the way they play, they are so clinical that they can just sort of find a gear, can't they? That's what their fans are hoping for, at least.
Well, I think the way North are playing this quarter, they're certainly frustrating them. And you got to make them defend. And that's what they've been doing up until now. Just the last couple of minutes, Melbourne have dialed up their forward half pressure a bit.
Ben Brown will connect from beyond 50. 55 out, Coventry end. It's on its way. In his 150th game, it's touched on the line. Minor score. 8-12-60. North Melbourne 8-3-51. Margin 9. We've just hit time on third quarter here on Grandstand AFL.
Couple of behinds this afternoon for Ben Brown. Short kick from Core is okay. Finds Turner, left back pocket.
Goalless third quarter, though, to this point.
Yeah.
You see that coming at half time.
Great work by North Melbourne so far. Key 6 minutes coming up here. Plenty of time left in this term. Walker now has it. Received the short pass. Left back pocket. Oh, he almost kicked into the man on the mark there. Just got it to the wing. Lever in front of everyone. Took the juggling mark. Pack of probably 4 or 5, but he had his name written all over that one. Hand pass to the running May, who enters 50. Gawn again the target. Was the arm held? No. Pushed out of the contest. Walker at the back. Hand pass over the top to Young. And Pickett just sweated on him. Affected the kick. Now a chance going back with the going back with the ball towards the boundary rather. Curtis. Strong contest. Might have hurt his shoulder though. Umpire says free kick. That was for the secondary contest, but might have been Taylor, in fact, who's gone down with a bit of an injury.
Or Curtis, first name.
Yes. Jack's got the ball. Zeeble, that is now, who's at right half back.
Zeeble throws it back inside defensive 50 for Lockie Young. D's by 9 points. Time on third term. Curtis Taylor has just shrugged off the trainers for a moment. They come beyond defensive 50 again, back to Zeeble. He's got the footy at right half back. Call to play on now. Up the line he goes. Unmarked is Zerha. Just forward of halfway. Again, they're surging forward in blue and white jumpers. Zerha reels on here. Goes inside forward 50. 3 on 2. Being held down there was on Francis. The umpires spotted a free kick going the Demons' way. It was Lever who was infringed upon. He comes across the defensive goal mouth here for Fritsch in the right back pocket. Now he plays on. Dummies the hand pass. Goes back out wide here for Spuggo under pressure off the Dunstan now from right half back.
Dunstan took a while to kick. Got it to half forward. Brown, good mark. Out the back. And then running into the open goal is Bedford. All he has to do is gather. It bounces into his chest. Gets to the goal square and kicks it. Very handy one. In time on in the third term for the D's. Just a steady 15 points now the margin. His first of the afternoon, Bedford playing as the substitute. 9-12-66 plays 8-3-51 after 22 minutes.
Disappointing for the Roos. And it was Lever who in the last 5 minutes has taken 2 strong pack marks. And he's just come alive a little bit. But just for the Kangaroos to have worked so hard to get it into their forward 50 for Lever to affect the mark once again. The forwards, Larkin in particular, has to bring that ball to ground. But as we've seen so often, really sharp transition by the Demons. Clever ball drop protection by Brown to take that mark and just to put that ball into space for Bedford running into an open goal.
Margin 15 points. Clearance, one here for the Kangaroos. Davies-Uniacke to Taron Thomas. Up inside forward 50. Back with the flight Bowie. Allowed to bounce here for Lever. Picked off by Powell. He straightens up from 40 on the run. It's across the face. Out of bounds on the full. No change to the score. 9-12 plays 8-3. It's a lead to the Narn Demons here at Docklands. They'll have it deep in the right back pocket.
Jaden Hunt with the ball. Haven't seen a lot of his run this afternoon. High kick to half back. McDonald got rid of an opponent. Fritsch tried to knock to the advantage of Melksham, who had the boundary line for company. Keeping it in, though, was Davies-Uniacke and got rid of Melksham in the process, too. Hand pass back to McDonald on the wing. High kick, Larky from 3 deep. One grab and the second. Larky can line up. He'll have to kick this 55. Assessing his options. A few telling him to settle. Larky will have a chance for his second of the afternoon after kicking one in that second quarter.
A few times in this quarter, he's been able to have a real launch at it, run and jump at it. Oh.
And he's going to kick, he's going to pass instead. 3 on 1. And Curtis was stuck behind Stephen May. Good luck getting around here. May's short pass out of defence is okay to Petrarca. Disappointing result, to say the least, for North Melbourne.
Petrarca at right half back. Wheels and goes now. High ball toward the wing. 2 on 2. Through the hands of Tom McDonald. At the back, Lockie Young taps it toward the boundary line. McDonald goes to retrieve it now for the D's. Up the line, he just skids it toward the paint of 50. It's missed Walker. In comes Neil Bullen. Soccer's here. Out to Dunstan. Swoops it in support. Goes high with a kick to the corridor. And Tom Powell. Nice courage. Back with the flight. To control it there for the Kangaroos. Late in this third term. D's by 15. North way out of the back line here. Zerha run down. A great tackle it was on the other side of the ground, out of bounds for a throw-in. It was just a nice effort from Jaden Hunt. They'll throw it back in there between wing and half back on the City wing.
Down by 15. Greenwood directing a bit of traffic, standing next to Petrarca. Sherry won it down. Thomas just got his hands free. Got the hand pass to Davies-Uniacke. Ripped out of his hands, though, by Oliver. Snap high to the top of 50. Brown came from 3 deep. McDonald stood up. Ball appeared in his hands. Overrunning it was Simpkin. A chance for Brown out wide to Melksham, who can go all the way if he wants. Keeps it low. Swings back and straight through the middle. Couple of late blows for the D's will make it very difficult for North Melbourne in the final term. That's their 10th of the afternoon. Melksham's first on return. And Melbourne now lead by 21 points with over 90 seconds, just over 90 seconds remaining in this third quarter.
Brown's had some good moments late in this third quarter.
He has, yeah. And good teams can make you pay for even the smallest of mistakes. Jai Simpkin there, just with the fumble, just took his eyes off it before he'd maintained possession of the footy. And Jake Melksham, that's one thing he's been able to do right throughout his career, is kick a lovely long ball from outside 50 there. But yeah, Brown brilliant there, below his knees, really clean, which Simpkin unfortunately wasn't. And he's worked hard, Simpkin, but he's just had some moments that he'd like back today. And it's cost his team a late goal.
Nam lead, 21 points. Back at the restart here, waiting for a clearance. Oliver takes Greenwood to ground, will ball it up. One correspondent off the text says, put the Cowboys back on. I don't think he means us. I think he means the NRL team from North Queensland, who, by the way, leads the Melbourne Storm at halftime 12-6. So everyone's being affected by the election coverage going nationally.
I thought he might have meant the National Australia Party.
So we'll ball it up again in the bullseye here at Docklands. Stevens by 21. Approaching three-quarter time, Luke Ball, Brad Sewell, alongside myself, Brett Sprigg and Andrew Mays on Grandstand AFL. Now a free kick for a dumping tackle against Taron Thomas, going the way of Tom Sparrow.
Really get hold of him, can't he, Thomas? He's a powerful young player.
Clears it out wide to Melksham. Hand pass inboard to Brayshaw, and on the strong leg, Gawn takes the mark in the long sleeves. 48 out from goal.
Brayshaw shouldn't have that much time and space. Stationary handball receive. 15 metres inbound inside. Just opens up the ground. Max Gawn, strong lead.
Hasn't had a great day, has he, Big Maxie? He's copped a couple of knocks, and I reckon in terms of a ruck sort of clearance, hit-out point of view, had his hands full today, but this is what he can do. Certainly impact the game going forward. This is his spot too. This is his distance, I think. Just hang it out and get a little bit of left to right to go.
He's better outside 50. Does it swing back enough? Not quite. Way to the left-hand side. Missed two to the left, Max Gawn, in this third term. He's tallying for the day 2 behinds. 22 points the margin in favour of Nam. 28 played, third term.
Here's Luke McDonald. Kicks out for the Kangaroos to Bailey Scott. Not 15 play on. Out to the corner here for Perez. Out of the pocket, out of bounds on the full. Well,
it's getting tired now, the Kangaroos. They need the siren to come.
Their ball use waned in the second quarter, and it's sort of gone back that way again here in time on the third term. So it's going to be now it was touched, was it? So it's going to be it's going to be a throw in at least for him. Not a Melbourne ball. Thrown back in right near the junction of 50. Gone to the front of Cherry. Wrapped up here. Bailey Scott puts a tackle on Petrarca. Ball comes loose now for Oliver. Turns a high ball high to the corner. That will be three-quarter time. 22-point break for the Demons here at the final change. 10-13-73 plays the Kangaroos 8-3-51. Goal kickers so far. Firstly, Cam Zerha leads all comers with 3 goals. Singles for the Kangaroos to Horn Francis, Zeeble, Larkey, Goldstein and Cherry. Meanwhile, for Melbourne, 2 each for Fritsch, Tom McDonald and Cozzy Pickett. Singles to Melksham, Bedford the sub, and Langdon, who was subbed out for him at quarter time. Rivers also on the board as well. 22 points the margin at the final change on ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital. This is Grandstand AFL.
New from ABC Books.
Tom Tilley, one of the best-known journalists of his generation, shares his powerful coming-of-age memoir. From a strict Pentecostal upbringing,
our lives revolved around the church hall,
to questioning the life created for him.
Once their whole body had been immersed, he'd start praying in the hope the convert would speak in tongues.
To building his true self and making every moment count. Speaking in Tongues by Tom Tilley. Book and audiobook available in stores and online.
This is Sir Doug Nicholls Round.
Grandstand AFL.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
On the City wing and the logo. Makes it back by hand. Now Luke McDonald again. Driving kick inside forward. 50. Zeeble. Towering grab in the contest with Brayshaw. Zeeble on the approach from 48. It is right to the line and there. The ideal start for North Melbourne. in this second half at Docklands. They close the gap to 13 points.
Curtis takes the mark. He can go quickly as well. Onto that nice left boot to the top of the square. Lucky almost took the mark. Greenwood hand pass was out. Outstanding to Sherry, who snaps the goal at the top of the square. Well worked by the Roos, and they are right in this contest. Dunstan took a while to kick. Got it to half forward. Brown, good mark. Out the back. And then running into the open goal is Bedford. All he has to do is gather. It bounces into his chest. Gets to the goal square and kicks it. Very handy one in time on in the third term for the D's. Just a steady 15 points now the margin. Overrunning it was Simpkin. A chance for Brown out wide to Melcham, who can go all the way if he wants. Keeps it low, swings back and straight through the middle.
The Sir Doug Nichols Round.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
3-quarter time here at Docklands. It's the Narm Demons, 10-13-73, leading North Melbourne 8-3-51. You're with Brett Sprigg, Andrew Mays, Luke Ball and Brad Sewell. Up next in Adelaide, you're off to the Crows and St Kilda at Adelaide Oval. But the jewel in the crown of Sir Doug Nichols Round is, as always, Dreamtime at the G. Richmond versus Essendon at the MCG. And Joel Peterson heads up our call team there next. Joel.
Thank you, Spriggy. The MCG painted an absolute picture at the moment. The light tower's dimmed, the ground is darkened, and there's a stage with entertainment going on around it. The participants in the long walk are lining the boundary at the moment, watching on, and they're in anticipation of the 17th Dreamtime at the G Clash. And for the first time in 3 years, it's back here at the MCG after being taken to the top end and to the west in the last couple of years. It, of course, recognises the huge contribution of First Nations people to our great game and to broader society. The long walks arrived. Essendon legend Michael Long leading it as customary. A welcome to country will soon be conducted by Wurundjeri Woiwurrung elder Uncle Colin Hunter. And then, of course, the war cries from each team shortly before the opening bounce, which are a special part of the evening. It is so much about the occasion, but the match itself has a bit baked into it too. Essendon has been under the fire this week after an insipid performance against the Swans last Saturday night, while Richmond's won its past 3 matches and brings an 11-game winning streak against the Dons into tonight. The Tigers have won the last 7 of these fixtures, and they can pile more pressure onto Ben Rutten's Bombers with a big victory. It's a big occasion as always, a huge crowd expected to roll in. Tex Wanganini's Essendon sub, Jake Arts the sub for Richmond. All the action from Dreamtime at the G is about 50 minutes away from now. Spriggy.
Thank you, Joel. Can't wait for that. And I think they've got some of the crowd we're supposed to have here as well for, as I say, it's always a great occasion at the MCG for Dreamtime at the G. 22 points the margin here. The Demons way. The thoughts of Luke Ball and Brad Sewell at 3-quarter time.
Well, you'd love to see them fight it out, surely. I think we wondered what would happen at half-time, whether Melbourne would put the foot down in that quarter. Well, it was really the first 15 minutes in particular. I thought North were terrific. They did maintain possession. They frustrated the Demons. They made Melbourne. They found the Melbourne player who didn't want to defend, and a couple of their chains of ball movement were terrific and resulted in scores. And for that first 20 minutes, they were able to keep Melbourne scoreless, so they were defending well, and they were able to move the ball through Melbourne's zone, who, it must be said, very rarely you say it for this Melbourne team, but they were a little bit lazy that quarter. They didn't want to play on someone. They were happy to sag off and wait for North to make a mistake. And in the end, it probably took a few of their senior players. I mean, Oliver's just been brilliant across the game. You mentioned Ben Brown. He ignited them a bit. Little Spargo did some nice things just to steady the ship a bit in that last quarter. I mean, you look at the numbers, it's certainly been a Melbourne dominant performance, other than disposals, because North have tried to maintain possession at times, but Narn, that was. The Kangaroos have been well ahead in all other numbers, including the scoreboard at 21 more inside 50s, but North's pressure, North's tackling and intent has really made it a contest, and you just hope that they can carry that on for the last quarter here and make a game of it, and not let it blow out.
No, you're right. Scoreboard aside, the intent and pressure for the Kangaroos is the key.
Last quarter underway. Jackson spins through a tackle, hand pass off Petrarca. They win the clearance here, the first of the final term. The Demons up inside 50 they go. Gawn here, big pack grab, not paid. Walker mops up in defence, fires a hand pass out to Bailey Scott, and they'll rebound here the Kangaroos, or will they? Nice spoil coming from Sparrow to mean a forward 50 stoppage for Narm at the Lockett end of Docklands, and it remains 22 points. No change to our three-quarter time score.
Rightly so, a lot of Melbourne teammates got over to Sparrow, affected the spoil. Good way to start this final quarter for the Demons.
Thrown back into play. Gawn assumes front position, knocks it over the back. Oliver, hand pass to Pickett, outside of attacking 50. Pickett slaps it to the advantage of a teammate there. Rivers works the 1-2 with Oliver off one step inside 50. Punched away from Brown. Now Spargo might have given a high fend. Umpire waves play on. In fact, the umpire is going to pay the high fend after all that. I think it was the out-of-zone umpire. Spargo just getting Turner a little high. Turner goes short defensively with his kick to Bailey Scott. Outside of defensive goal square, it was a dicey kick. Cause able to mark it just right of his defensive goal square.
Very good Bailey Scott. 24 possessions, taking the 11 marks.
Here is Core. Drives it long beyond defensive 50. Larky gets set, but Horn Francis missed it completely in from the side, and Greenwood puts a tackle down there on Harrison Petty. Will ball it up between wing and half forward at the Demons attacking end. Ball in the air. Goal scene arrives in front of Jackson. Wins it down. Jackson follows up, though. His hand pass picked off by Horn Francis. And now Sparrow bursts through again. He handballs into space. Neil Bullen traps it now. Handballs out with Oliver. Here's possession number 36 for him. Loads up inside forward 50 again. Running start from Ben Brown at the back. Couldn't quite reach and get there. Spargo hand pass off to Sparrow, who can snap from 25 out and bounce it through. There is that class and a nice team goal from the D's to extend their lead out to 28 points. 11-13, 79. Plays 8-3-51. Early stages, final term here at Docklands on Grandstand AFL.
Sparrow getting involved once again. He's been busy, creative, really important to the Melbourne side, and I think it certainly is fair to say Bully underrated. Simpkin came off for the Kangaroos, clutching his elbow, I think, so it's one to watch. Hopefully he's okay.
Clayton Oliver's 12th inside 50. We really haven't gone near him, to be honest. Again, I know it's a hard task shutting him down, but he's had far too much space at times. Just got an insatiable appetite for the footy, Oliver. Hunts it better than anyone else in the competition. Spargo involved again with the direct goal assist, and you're right, he's a pretty handy player. Tom Sparrow coming off the bench at times through the midfield for Nam.
Only missed one game since round 10 last year, so he is one of the first picked at the D's now. Oliver takes nice lips catch. Great delivery inside 52. Brown couldn't take the mark, punched away from him. At ground level, he gets back to work. Clears the path there. Now Jordan, a high floating kick inside 50. Will it hang in? McDonald turned defender. He punches it out for a boundary throw in right forward pocket for Nam. Margin 28 points, 3 minutes played final term.
Back in it comes in the pocket. Gawn taps it down. Anderson dispossessed here in the tackle by Sparrow. They go again. Now he wraps up Core this time, Sparrow. Cosy Pickett puts a tackle here on Thomas. Ball stays with him and the umpire will ball it up. Gary Michael was listening in Thailand, but he's not listening to us. Listen to the election coverage. And he sent a very long-winded political question for you, Brad Silk. Comes to Aidan Core, hand pass out wide as they pile on top from all angles, and we will ball it up in the pocket. After 100 odd years with the same political system, Australia needs to lead and provide real political change. Serve the people, not fatten your paychecks. I hope your fridge is full. Mine is. I think you guys are in for a long night, says Gary. Thank you, Gary. But he's not sending it to us. He's sending it to Raph Epstein in the election coverage as Tom McDonald takes the mark in the contest down there against Aidan Core, and he's won the footy here, Tom McDonald, so he'll go back and take his shot 20 out on a 45-degree angle.
Again, Tom McDonald caught on, or young Kyron Hayden caught on Tom McDonald deep in the goal square at a stoppage, 450 stoppage, so have a look at that north. Aidan Core trying to get back to affect the contest, but wasn't able to. Just seems like a strange matchup. It's happened a couple of times today, isn't it?
Had 2 goals today, this for number 3, and he makes no mistake. And the class is showing on the stretch here for Nam. They extend their break to 34 points, 12-13-85 to 8-3-51. As we've played now 5.5 minutes in this final term at Docklands.
Such is the way Melbourne play. This has got the ability to blow out very, very quickly. Young side, the Kangaroos. They're tired. They've played a style of football short out of their back half, invites the pressure, entices those turnovers for Melbourne. But again, the tackle pressure and from the centre bounces, Melbourne have just been far too good in these first two already, just easy clearances.
They got within a goal, North Melbourne, at the 13-minute mark of the third term, but since then it's all been Melbourne. Back in the middle, Jackson won it down. Petrarca, lightning hand pass, worked the 1-2, or in fact, Oliver gave it to Dunstan instead. Dunstan had to go back and retreat. Hand pass to Jackson, now to Rivers, off his left boot. Picker went up very early before acceptances. Quite sure he didn't give away a free kick there, but North Melbourne had the numbers to spoil and a boundary throw-in to take place, top of 50. Attacking stoppage here again for the D's. Margin 34 points. Thrown back in. Taylor dispossessed. He surely didn't get rid of that. Umpire said play on. Anderson back into the congestion. He spilt the ball as well. Now Sherry. Hand pass to Thomas. It's a little hot. Thomas fumbles. Out of bounds. 80 around from the Melbourne goal.
34-point margin. 7 gone final term. Up next, it's off to Dreamtime at the G for most of us. Otherwise, if you're in Adelaide, off to the Crows and the Saints at Adelaide Oval. Back in it comes. Down to Davies-Uniacke for the Kangaroos. Don't need Oliver tackled. The footy comes loose, holding the ball. So Oliver with now his 6th tackle to go with 38 disposals. Here's 39 coming up as he drives it long inside forward 50 toward the teeth of goal. And now it's coming across, affecting the spoil. Lockie Young could have marked that footy. In fact, the intercept. At the drop he goes again. Shares it out wide as Hayden does thump it beyond defensive 50. Back with the flight. Ooh. Courage it was from Melksham. The Kangaroos have numbers. Zerha tumbles it back in the centre square for Zeeble. And now back to Davies-Uniacke on the angle. He finds Goldstein. He's 65 from goal. They're surging forward for him. Called to play on. Hand pass off to Thomas. 55 around now. Long to the top of the goal square. Getting back here as Lever. It's right on the line now. Zerha puts out the boot, but it's been rushed through by Jordan. And it's going to be a... Are they going to check this, you reckon?
Well...
We go to the yard.
Lever's claiming he's touched it.
They're going to review this.
Sure he has.
Yeah. There was a little doubt about that, but review underway. So Jordan slides in here.
Certainly wasn't touched over the line by Jordan. So if Lever hasn't touched it, that'll be a goal.
Off the Zerha boot. Or was it still? Did he get a boot to it? Oh, hang on. It's still rolling here from.
That's what I mean. Yeah, the marking contest.
No, it must be this contest here.
Looks like he gets a hand on it, Lever.
Yeah. There's a deflection off his fingertip there. It's not super clear, but you can see a slight deviation. Yeah.
Looking at this angle, we can see the ball makes contact with the Melbourne defender's hand.
Otherwise, it would have been Taron Thomas rolling all the way home from 55. But yes, we can see Lever's touched that. So our arc review results in a behind here to the Kangaroos.
Arc didn't get the memo about none.
No. 4:52. Plays the Demons 12-13-85. Or is that already on the board? Oh, there we go. Yeah, 33 points is the margin.
Mate brings it in. Low spearing ball. Gawn caught from behind here. Forced to punch. Now Petrarca. Oh, he's just clean through the contest. Ran diagonally. Then he was looking for Bedford, who's got some toe. Gets to it. Just drops the mark at the last moment. Recovers. Gets around one, but not around Horn Francis. Caught holding the ball. Good persistence from the number 1 pick. Horn Francis. Not many options going forward. Has to pierce this kick. It's beautiful too to Thomas. Took the mark. Hand passed on his knees to Anderson inside 50. Larkey couldn't get in front of his opponent. D's with the numbers. Lever had to get rid of it. Not sure he did legally. Larkey tackled by May. He turns it over by hand. Oliver there to mop up. To Bowie by hand. And now further afield by hand to Lever. Cuts back neatly inside with the pass. Petrarca takes the mark right half back.
Petrarca off a step. Shares it to Bowie. Up the line now, Jordan marks in space. The unused sub in last year's grand final, James Jordan. Called to play on now. Pumps it up the outer side. Running start here from Jackson. Too far underneath it now. He's going to be given the free kick here. Being nudged underneath by Thomas.
They're pretty hot on that tonight. Prize.
And Jackson, 65 from goal here. Another Eshamano product. Just forward of halfway. Comes in, drives it long to the hot spot. Gawn missed it. There's Tom McDonald, shrugged out of a tackle. Hand pass in space. Brayshaw gets set for the kick. Gets away from Zeeble. Tugs it from 45 right to the line, marked on the last line down there by Aidan Core. It's going to be no change to our score, and the Demons still lead here by 33 points.
Core. Out of defence, short pass, right back pocket. Powell takes the mark. So the Sting threatening to go out of this one fairly early in this final term. 11 minutes played. Margin of 33 points. Young gets it in his defensive goal square, then runs the boundary line. Hand pass over the top to Walker off the outside of the boot. Horn Francis with work to do. Beats two off the outside of his boot too. Unfortunately, puts it out of bounds on the full. So it's just breaking down for North Melbourne, getting a little messy in this last half hour of footy. Free kick the way of the Demons. And it's Petty to take it from right half back.
Petty up the line. They converge on the wing. Gawn slips through his hands in the contest with Sherry. Sockered forward by Neil Bullen. Out to meet the footy for sub Bedford. Now Petrarca receives it inboard. Hand pass off to Fritsch on the right boot. Kicks it in the back of his teammate Dunstan. Bounces back here for Fritsch, but he's beaten to it by Luke McDonald. Off the deck here it ends up. Back with the Kangaroos. Powell now comes wide. Finn Perez floats a hand pass inboard. Thomas. Further afield now to Davies. Uniac run down. Great chase and tackle it was. Bryce Bedford. And Bedford rewarded. Waste no time. Hand pass off to Jordan. Nahm go forward again. Walker back with the flight. And coming late, Tom McDonald. It's off hands for a throw-in. 45 around from goal at the Lockett end. Crowd here, by the way, 13,422. I'm not going to be horrible. It feels like less. It feels like a bit of mayo on that crowd figure. But then again, I can't quite see this side of the ground. So fair enough. Anyway, 33 points the margin. 13 gone, fourth term.
Must be a few above us because it is very sparse on the outer side. Third level's shut. But there are people on level 3 above us here too, so a fair few that we can't see. It's still fairly low. It'll be in the top 10, I think, for the lowest crowds here at Docklands.
Bottom 10?
Bottom 10, sorry. Or the top 10 for the lowest crowd.
That makes sense, yeah.
So Sherry's off with the blood rule. That's why there's this stoppage in play. Davies Uniac has been limping for a while after that rundown tackle. He comes off looking absolutely exhausted. And Kyron Hayden's down there as well. There might be a sub coming too because Basena Falagi is getting set downstairs as well. From the throw in, wrapped up immediately, Bedford going nowhere. Hands it back to the umpire. Neil Buller it was in fact. Tossed up quickly. Goldstein back into congestion. Works the 1-2. Now a chance for Simpkin. Pushed off his kick. Did he get boot to ball? Yes, he did. So it's out of bounds on the full. Cosy Pickett to take the free kick. He's 60 from goal on the boundary. Few options inboard. May is inside the centre square with no one on him. Instead, he's just going to pop it into the pocket. Hope for some flyers. It was over everyone's head. Easy mark taken by Core. Left back pocket. So it's Taylor who looks like is the injured man for North Melbourne. Percent of Alagi suiting up downstairs.
Core players on. Comes across defensive goal here for Kane Turner. Comes back inboard now. Makes them work. It falls to Horn Francis. Hand pass out in space. Walker turns blind. Away from Bedford. Kick goes up in the air. And it's out of bounds for a throw in between wing and half forward in the Lockett end of the ground.
Interesting player, Bedford, isn't he? It's great to see him get an opportunity on this round in particular.
So 8 times the sub this year, Bawley. He's been unused 6 times. At least he was used here today.
Yeah. I mean, he's clearly second fiddle to Cosy Pickett down there, but he's staking his claim. Great tackle.
Dunstan caught in possession. Horn Francis, a couple of nice things in this final term, so he's running out the game nicely. Spins the ball in his hands. True centre wing. Goes high with the kick. Gawn puts himself in front of Larky, who never really got a run at it. Gawn, great mark going back with the flight. Knew the contact was coming, absorbed it and took a strong contested grab. Back inside defensive 50 to May. May short to Brayshaw. Brayshaw chip over the top, sets Bowie a task. He shows some toe as well. Got away from Zeeble nicely. Short kick is good too to that man Bedford, who takes it right half forward.
Bedford assesses the options. He's going to get 50 here because Simpkin overstepped. I beg your pardon, it's Turner who overstepped the mark.
Well, he didn't overstep.
Or the stand.
He stepped off to try and bump someone, a Melbourne player that was running past, trying to exert a bit of physical presence. He didn't do that. All he did was give away a 50-metre penalty.
Bedford was quick to point it out as well, wasn't he, to the umpire? So what do you think of this? So Bedford now within range. He'll kick from 35 out. Slight angle right of setter. Already with 1 goal this afternoon. 3 goals this season. Confirmation, Curtis Taylor subbed out. So Bezenavalagi out in the action, as you mentioned there, Maisie. Bedford on the approach here and squeezes it to the right-hand side for a minor score. 12-14, 86. They lead North Melbourne 8-4, 52. Margin 34, 11, make it 17 go on final turn.
It was the first score behind all goal in 7 minutes of footy. Fair to say this last score is fizzling out of touch.
Things up this game.
No doubt about that. There'll be a declaration at some point later tonight as to who wins. Maybe there might not be, but I reckon if these two teams could declare right now, they would.
Yeah, Melbourne definitely would. No more injuries.
May long kick inside 50. No mark taken. Brayshaw going back with the flights. Could have been a huge collision. Luckily, he avoided it. He mops up too with a hand pass to Hunt, who got around Bezenavalagi. Then a long kick inside 50. Brown sets himself. Ran under the ball in the end. Roving nicely was McDonald. Hand pass to Sparrow. Hit the fat side of the footy. Not enough bend on that one. Out of bounds on the full. 8-4, 52. North, 12-14, 86. 17 played final turn.
Unconditional, isn't he, Angus Brayshaw? Just as we said that, he runs back with the flight. That's, as so many of his teammates are, that's why they're a great team at the moment.
Taron Thomas drives it long. Up in front down there, Harrison Petty at the back, Bowie. Hand pass back to Lever. Almost hand pass for himself, sort of just didn't quite get it away on time as Dunstan now wheels around, left boot, high toward the painted 50. It's bouncing near the boundary line. Hand pass back inboard here for Bedford. Runs the line now, fires on goal. It's across the face and bouncing out of bounds for a throw in at left full forward. For Nam, who lead by 34 points. 12-14 plays 8-4. We're approaching time on here in this final quarter.
Players gather, left forward pocket for the D's. Thrown back into play, shallow throw in the end. Goldstein just got to it again. The rover was McDonald. Hand pass to Neil Bullen. Didn't really dispose of that properly. McDonald there to mop up for the Roos. High left foot kick outside of defensive 50. Bezenavalagi will be the first to get there. Paddles it in front of himself. Bedford's there for some pressure as well. He sees it out for a boundary throw in. Bedford quick onto him there. He's got some serious toe, the sub. Bezenavalagi, the sub as well. 2 subs going at it. Right half forward for the D's, where the ball will be tossed back into play.
Back in it comes. Worked away through hands. Jordan to Jackson. Now Brayshaw. Back to Jordan. Oliver involved now. Possession number 42 for him. From just forward of halfway. Lever has room to bounce. Loads up inside forward 50. Up they go in the pocket. Tom McDonald, second bite, won't reel it in. He's going to be paid the free kick. The arms being chopped. Free kick Melbourne. 35 out in the right forward pocket. He's limping again, Tom McDonald. So we saw him come off in the first quarter and we thought maybe he'd be subbed.
Yeah, he must be okay. It looks like a bit of an ankle, doesn't it? One of those ones you can re-strap and get back out there. I mean, you wouldn't be taking any risks with him now, this stage of the game, but I think he can sniff a bag, I think. What's he got, 3?
Well, he kicked 4 last week against the Eagles. He'll line up for his 4th here. Just hit the 20-minute mark of the final term.
I've been red hot on those marking contests, I think, right from the first quarter tonight.
Thompson on the approach. and misses near side from the right forward pocket. So 12-15-87 here now. They lead North Melbourne 8-4-52. Time on final quarter here at Docklands.
McDonald with the kick in, back into play. Lever sweating on this. He gets to the contest as well. Over the top of Simpkin, makes the defensive spoil out of bounds.
He's been good lever.
Read that well, didn't he?
Yeah, he has. Yeah, had a real impact on this game. A couple of times when North challenged, he just stood up, that third quarter in particular, took a couple of intercept marks, just took the sting out of any North charge.
Toss back into play. Gawn down to Sparrow. High kick. It'll land inside 50. Brown tried to get there. Fritsch was in front of him. Couldn't take the mark. Scott dispossessed. Core knocks it to the advantage of Davies Uniacke, who slipped one tackle, not quite the second. Turnover ball. Dunstan tried to snap it back. Smothered. Close to the boundary line. Scott. Hand pass actually stayed in. Sparrow now for the D's. To Dunstan, to Jordan by hand. Just looking for the ball was Fritsch. Had to turn tackler in the end. Turner spectacularly turned in the air. And no prior opportunity. It'll be a stoppage inside attacking 50.
Up it goes. Brown against Sherry. Down for Horn Francis. Thumps it from the danger area now. 2-on-2. Larkey hits the deck here. He's taken high in that contest. Was sandwiched between Gawn and Brayshaw. Larkey finds Simpkin on the back edge of the square. 35 points the Demons lead. Oh, kicks a turnover here. It goes straight to Tom Sparrow from the foot of Davies Uniacke. So Sparrow goes all the way back here for Jordan.
Donald's limping considerably now, coming off.
Yeah.
Straight to the bench.
The ice bag out.
Yeah.
Brayshaw on the outer wing. Melbourne have got Freo at the MCG next Saturday in the twilight, so that'll be a huge game. Two top four sides.
Left ankle looks like as well for McDonald as he gets rid of his boot. Nice mark taken by Horn Francis. Left half back. Didn't want to play on. Umpire said you did. So he's forced to go back inside defensive 50, have a bounce. He's running around Max Gawn here, turns it over on the way out. Bedford with the intercept mark, and he can go quickly inside 50. Instead, holds it, spins the ball a couple of times in his hands. Sparrow at centre forward says, slow it down. Goes into the pocket. Gawn there, third in line, couldn't take the mark. It's a free kick.
Free kick as he Gawn.
Coming the way of Gawn.
Yeah, it was a free kick, that one, definitely.
So he didn't make the contest. What happened there, Bawley?
Well, it was actually little Turner who was knew he was in a bit of trouble. Gawn was probably going to take a contested mark. I don't know what the issue was with that one. He's almost tunnelled him a bit. He's had a bit of a rough tape, Maxie, I reckon.
Yeah.
Hasn't had a day to remember from him. He's kept presenting and kept working. Should reward himself with a goal here, but the eyes off the ball. Little bump, tunnel out of the marking contest from Turner.
Yep, very clear to see from the replay. And Gawn has the free kick. He'll kick from 20 out, slight angle to the right. Should be no problem for Max.
He might come off if he kicks this one. That'll do him for today, I think.
He shoots and scores as well. Long sleeve Maxi this afternoon kicks his first after a couple of behinds in the third quarter. Melbourne have their 13-15, 93 to North Melbourne, 8-4-52. We've played 24 minutes final term.
They've done all they had to today, the Demons, and the scoreboard's flattering for North. It hasn't been as close as what the scoreboard may suggest. 8-4, they've kicked straight. Could have been very different.
So this chipping around style that we're seeing, especially outside their defensive 50, is that to minimise risk?
Yeah. Yep.
Keep it off.
Yeah, it's not. There's certainly some other teams that playing that way, and the general feel would be low risk. You're out of your back half. Then once you get the ball into your front half, start to put a bit of energy on it, a bit of movement on it, get some overlap run, and really get the ball into that launch pad where you can attack deep.
Back in the middle, Gawn, clean tap down to Christian Petrarca, thumps it inside forward 50, delivers into Fritsch. Presents from full forward, takes the mark, 35 out directly in front.
Or just win it clean out of the centre bounce like that and put it straight down to forward straight. It's a pretty easy game, isn't it, sometimes? That's where they're so good, and that's where you're looking at teams to challenge them. I mean, Carlton last night, that second quarter, that's the blueprint with their big mids in there. I mean, they probably need a ruckman back, don't they? But Fremantle, they can really challenge the Demons.
Third this afternoon. Fritsch makes no mistake whatsoever. Party time here for the Narm Demons. 14-15-99. North Melbourne 8-4-52. Margin out to 47 with just a handful of minutes left here at Docklands.
Yeah, the tests are going to come, surely. Fremantle next week will be great. Then at Sydney after that, and Collingwood on Queen's birthday into the bye. I mean, you'd think that even what we saw last week against St Kilda, they're the sort of team that relishes the challenge, don't they? They just do enough. They know that they've got plenty up their sleeve. They know that it's a long season, it's a marathon. They don't want to be peaking now, and they know how to manage themselves throughout the year. But I think they'll be looking forward to those contests against the better teams in the comp, who will be hunting them, because that's what happens when you're the benchmark.
Gone back in the middle. Lovely piece of ruck work, last centre bounce. What's he got installed this time? Jumps into his opponent and then wins it down to Dunstan, who fashions a kick forward. Off hands, Petrarca, high kick inside 50. Brown in pole position here, couldn't get separation on Walker. They wrestle, forward pocket, Brown falls on top of him. Walker had the boundary line for safety. And a throw-in will take place next to the right behind post.
They've tried hard, I think, the key backs for North. Walker, Core, shaky start, has battled on okay. I mean, it's been a peppering. What's the inside 50 count? Geez, they've had a lot. 73 to 32, plus 41 inside 50. So, all things considered, they've actually hung on okay, the North defenders. They haven't conceded 100 points yet.
Plus 47 the margin as it currently stands, as Davies Uniacke from centre half back goes on the angle here to Jack Zeeble. And he's approaching his 250th. It's his 249th today, Jack Zeeble, so joins the 250 club next week. He'll become the 11th player at that club to reach 250. Receives it back inboard now, Zeeble. Comes across here for Walker. They switch back to the dockside wing, and it's marked out in space by Lockie Young. Wheels and goes now, the former Dog, up inside 50, with Larkey presenting at the drop. It's a nice little dummy here, and run away from Paul Curtis. Straightens up, but not quite enough. It's across the face and bounces out of bounds for a throw-in. Deep in attack at the Coventry end. It's Narm, 14-15-99. North Melbourne, 8-4-52. 28 gone, final turn.
Creative there, found some nice space where there was none.
Lovely little dummy to get round two. Just lacking the finish there, Paul Curtis. From the stoppage, inside attacking 50 for North. Hand pass, dropped by Greenwood. Horton Francis was onto it, became the tackler. Now a chance for the D's. Spargo. Hand pass to Sparrow, off a step, high ball. Jackson trying to get the front spot. Brown came late, didn't complete the mark. Juggled it, spoiled away. And Davies Uniacke sees it over for a boundary throw-in. Left half forward here for North Melbourne. Chance late in this one to peg one back. Could have been anything, this margin, when you look at the inside 50 count, as Bawley mentioned. Toss back into play. Gawn over the back of the pack. Greenwood spins, kicks. It'll land inside 50. Zeeble too strong in the contest. Takes a nice mark against Jordan. And Rivers it was, in fact. And Zeeble will go back from just beyond 50 and try and deliver North Melbourne a good late goal. He already kicked one in the third term today, the captain. He's just stretching those hammies. I saw him chase down on the outer wing about a moment ago and pulled up a little proppy. So this will really test the hamstrings very late into this fourth quarter. Jack Zeeble spins the ball in his hands. Should get the distance if he kicks it well enough. From 51, it's a high kick. In fact, he's going to miss everything. Up high was Hunt. Beat everyone. Got out of bounds next to the right behind post.
Looked like a tight hammy, that kick. Yeah.
Didn't want to extend.
Margin remains 47. The way of the Demons. Approaching the half-hour mark here. Off to Richmond, Essendon, of course, Dreamtime at the G, or Adelaide, St Kilda, depending on where you are on Grandstand AFL, right across the country, and it's run out of play again. Slapped away, in fact, kept alive by Zerha. Back here for the Demons, Brayshaw. Turns it beyond defensive 50 mark by Thomas. So intercepted
The Kangaroos have it in the right forward pocket, right on the paint of 50.
Might be just beyond his limit this late in the game.
Recent 50 gamer Taron Thomas pops it into the pocket, needs a lead here. Zerha, second bite, does well. Got in best position and just allowed the ball to drop in his breadbasket as he came down. And he'll take his shot from 15 out on the toughest of angles, right-hand side.
The ball's been in his area. He's presented well, contested well, Zerha.
Zerha goes the check side from the pocket and misses near side. So North Melbourne, 8-5-53. The Demons 14-15-99. The margin 46 here late in the game at Docklands.
Stephen May to bring it back into play. Half an hour played in this final term. Long high kick, looking for Gawn over the back of the pack. Young's there, couldn't gather. Walker, he wanted the boundary line as Gozzi was sweating on him. And he hands it to the boundary umpire at right half back. Ball to be tossed back into play. So it looks like Max Gawn's going to go right to the end today. Repeating Tom McDonald off with a little bit of an ankle concern, and the sub that was made earlier as well. Bedford on for an injured Ed Langdon in a very heavy tackle in the opening term. Petrarca through the middle of the ground. Hand pass off to Melksham. Brown is his target. The man in his 150th. 1, 2, 3 grabs. Couldn't bring it down because Fritsch stole it out of his hands. High kick off the right boot's going to land short. Core tracking back. Takes the mark in front of Pickett. Left back pocket. Goes short to Scott. Back to Core. Core didn't know what to do with it, so he's gone straight up the middle, turned it over to Bowie. That sums up the afternoon. No one wanted to take the responsibility there for the outlet kick. Jake Bowie will line up for his first of the afternoon.
Win number 17.
17.
For Bowie. It's another day at the office.
It's extraordinary. Only kicked a couple of goals in his career. This from 52. He struck it pretty well, touched on the line. These fans liked it from 200 metres away. The cheer squad at the other end of the stadium. They've hit the century 14-16, 100. 8-5-53 North Melbourne. 32 minutes played final term.
100 up. Something nice about kicking 100 points, isn't it? Might as well, I think, when you have 75 inside 50s. What's the record? That's got to be up there, doesn't it?
The Demons honouring the traditional place name today. But this team, by any other name, is just as good. They roll on for 10 and zip. 17 straight overall and make light work of the Kangaroos in the end. Winners by 47 points. 14-16 on 100 to 8-5-53. We're off there very shortly. Goal kickers 3 each to McDonald and to Bailey Fritsch. 2 to Cozzy Pickett. Singles to Max Gawn. Bedford, Melksham, Langdon, Rivers and Sparrow as well. Meanwhile for North Melbourne, who went with them, that's Maisie mentioned, they were within a goal at the start of the third quarter. Zerha kicked 3 for them. Singles for Horn Francis, Zeeble, Larkey, Goldstein and Tristan Sherry. Brad Sewell, give us your impressions on the game and we'll get them, the votes from you, Luke Ball.
I think the Kangaroos did as much as they could early to contest against what is the clear benchmark of the competition. Their pressure when the ball was in their first half sort of kept them in the game, but Melbourne head and shoulders above most sides at the moment, and certainly the Kangaroos did all they had to do. They had a few spurts of 5-10 minutes of football, but they just keep on chugging along, and I think as was made later in that last quarter, they're looking forward to a contest against some stronger sides in the near future.
And Freo to come next week at the MCG. Well, North have got St Kilda at Docklands here for the Sunday early game. How did your 3-2-1 Player of the Year votes fall, Bally?
There was a clear standout. The 2 and the 1 were a little bit harder to find. North had a few players that I thought were pretty good. I like little young Bailey Smith's game. It was one of his better games for the club. Luke McDonald always tries his backside off. Davies Uniacke had his moments. I thought their key defenders battled on manfully, but all Melbourne players in 3-2. I'm going to give one to Petrarca. We mark him, he's obviously a superstar. We mark him pretty hard. I just thought when he wanted to go today, when the game needed someone just to stand up and show a bit of class, he stands out. I thought he was good. I'm going to give 2 to Jake Lever. Just a rock solid game. I think when you're trying to pick a defender out from Melbourne. It can be hard at times because they work so well as a unit, but I thought at times, in particular that third quarter, he stood up when there was some semblance of a charge from North, but he was really solid all day, and it was a clear best on ground. Clayton Oliver was playing a different game this evening, had the pill to himself. At certain times, North, they had Greenwood on him for a bit, he had Simpkin and one or two others, but he brought his own footy today. He was just magnificent. He's the top 3 player in the comp. In my opinion, he just keeps getting better and better and keeps doing it week in, week out. He's a machine.
Clayton Oliver, 45 disposals, 22 contested, 13 inside 50s, 5 marks, 6 tackles, 13 clearances.
Yeah, both sides of the ball, it was, yeah. He's just so strong. He's at the peak of his powers, really, him and Petrarca. And they lead the charge so well through the middle of the ground.
By the way, Jake Bowie is now 17-0, so the record is actually 18-0 with Albert Lauder back in the late 1920s for Collingwood. 17 equals the great Hawk Kelvin Moore, and Albie Engelman, who I'm pretty sure played for Carlton a million years ago as well.
Collingwood machine in the 20s. They won 4 in a row, I reckon.
Yeah, would have been a part of that team. So there you go. So Jake Bowie up to 17-0, and of course the Demons have that same winning streak as well. Nice to see the players out there as well getting around each other. The Kangaroos trudge their way off Docklands. 13,422 was the crowd here. So that has us done. Luke Ball giving 3 votes to Clayton Oliver, 2 to Jake Lever, and 1 to Christian Petrarca. Thank you very much, Brad Sewell, as always.
Fantastic to be here.
See you next time. Thank you, Bally.
Thanks, mate.
Next time, leave it earlier, right?
Yeah,
Lots of
I'll
traffic.
give myself an hour next time, an extra hour.
Andrew Mays, thank you as always.
Thanks, Briggy.
Thank you to Stuart Baker, our tech, and to Andrew Williamson back in the studio. To you, most importantly, for your company here on Grandstand AFL, where the Demons have beaten the Kangaroos by 47 points. Up next, if you're listening through Adelaide, digital radio, you're off to the Crows and St Kilda at Adelaide Oval. Otherwise, Dreamtime at the G, which is always a fantastic event. Richmond versus Essendon at the MCG just down the road with Joel Peterson and the team. You can catch that on most ABC Grandstand platforms coming up next. That's all from us as we say farewell from Docklands.